mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you on a Forza, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down. Cut the fix up with some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you on a Forza, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down.
Hey family, welcome all. Sorry about that. I stepped away for a second and things started without me. I probably should have put a larger countdown, but we're here. That's all that matters. We're here. So thank you all for joining us in the chat. I know people are populating still. If you all have not done so, could you please share out the tweet that I posted to make sure others see this and get it shared out? And of course, hit the like and share, like and subscribe button, should I say. I see a few people. Roshan, what's up, brother? Spider, what's up? Web Dave, what's up? And listen, so we have some good topics to talk about tonight. I want to kind of dive deeper into Forza Horizon 6 in Japan. And I also wanted to dive into Helldivers 2 and of course Gears of War Reloaded, which we've seen basically in console wars now. Like, seems like it's over. We can retire. So yeah.
Now we all just can team up against Nintendo.
That's it. Now we got to take them down.
That's
Good
coming. Nintendo will probably come to PC sooner than later.
Maybe
later, I think.
15 years.
You mean in like a legal capacity? Because it's already kind of there.
Yeah, I was about, in a legal capacity.
They just figured out how to do voice chat. It'll be 10 years. Yeah. Not because of business things, just because it'll take them that long to figure it out.
Yeah. We can probably, we'll out tech them by next gen for sure. They won't be able to ride. Like, surely the Nintendo fans won't, settle for way less tech, right? Like, surely they want modern specs and such, right? That's what I would think. That it's not like they were going to buy cardboard or something.
You would think they would, but they seem complacent and just, I mean, what is it? The Switch 2 can like barely run Elden Ring or something like that.
I saw that.
And then, it's like you would think, but I mean that's the whole point on why Nintendo's. I mean, everybody wants to use Nintendo as like look at this. This is what it should be. This is what it works, and it people don't realize Nintendo's the exception. They're not the norm.
Absolutely,
you can't
exception, not the rule. Yep.
Yeah, you can't pull Nintendo's business model and apply it to PlayStation or Xbox and see the same results.
It's true.
With Nintendo, they look at their games. Yes, they're fun to play. Yes, they got a good thing going. They have nostalgia behind them, but there's no voice acting. There's no mocap. There's they don't have the sprawling worlds that a Red Dead Redemption 2 has, or
Well, I did hear
Decent
Link.
Shadows.
I did hear Link go like, "Hey," or something like that once. I think, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't have like the full-fledged like monologues and stuff. It's all like, yeah, like listen, like little tiny little things. So like their development costs are so low, and yeah,
That's the impressive
that's pretty
part.
much why.
That's the impressive part. For their like development costs to be relatively so low, and to churn out like really quality titles, I still have to give Nintendo their credit, right? And they know
Yeah.
that, and they know their audience. They know what their audience wants, and they give it to them.
Quality.
But I would. Though, let me make sure to hit up MJ. Make sure he's here for the chat. We had an early Nintendo, slander fest. Had to get that out of the way. But now that we've done that, listen, let's do some housekeeping and welcoming here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We have some special things going on tonight. We have not only are we joined by our good brother Corkenstein from all sorts of podcasts, including his own. Cork, I'll introduce the last bit after this. But Corkenstein, welcome, brother. This is your first time with us on The Fix, but you have been on a podcast with me before, obviously, not only with Boom, but the Infinite podcast. Tell the good folks about yourself, your channel, and what you've been up to.
Yeah, so hey everybody. I'm Corkenstein. Or I know there's Stein or Corkenstein, like Josh Stein. Either way, you can call me either one. I'm good with it. I'm a former developer. I worked in the video game industry for 5-6 years. I'm trying to remember. It was a long time ago. Like the last game I worked on was Crisis 1. As a QA lead, and then I switched over to I came back like a few years later and worked on in the mastering lab, so I would burn the discs, the builds, spot check them, things like that, and get them ready for developers and QA and stuff like that. I worked on a ton of games while I was there, like Medal of Honor, things like that. I worked in the industry for a long time. Now I just big avid fan, just play, surprisingly I never got burnt out. Usually people get burnt out when they work on games and stuff like that. But not for me. I love talking about them. So I have my own chat, my own channels, Xbox Talks, which might be going through a rebranding. We did lose a panel member recently, so we might do a little rebranding of that. But Game Pass Gumbo, we've been doing pretty much like once a month kind of thing, just every sporadically whenever we could get everyone together, where we just talk about food and gaming. And that's pretty much it. You guys can follow me at the Corkenstein on Twitter, or Bluesky. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man, it's kind of poetic. You all had just lost a panel member, and we just gained one. Like it's like the circle of life or something, The circle of life.
I was about to say you have a way better singing voice than I do, I think. So I was gonna leave it to you.
Yeah, hey, listen, you never know until you try, Corey. Go ahead and try. Feel free. You all are free to do whatever. There you go. Got the pipes on. I hear you.
I think it was out of key, but that's usually the key I sing in is out.
But yeah, man. Listen, thank you for joining us. I'll make sure to put every bit of information as far as I actually did not get a chance to put you and our next person I'll introduce information in there, and who will be a permanent member to, coast off what you just said on the departing member for you. And we've had this brother on our show many times. I've talked to this brother for years now. He's part of my small inner circle of other brothers. We called what is it? We go by on Twitter. It's our own little kind of in group on Twitter that I've stuck by. I've honored it because it's always been like, I think really cool. We called ourselves the Elite Squad at a point. And I was like, okay,
that was back during COVID, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was way back there. Yeah, and I mean, look, it's, what, 5 years later, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? But yeah, my good brother Crusader is joining us as a permanent panel member. And
How we doing, everyone?
hey, man, couldn't be happier to have you, brother. It struck me as I was going through some things, and I'm like, man, okay, well, we're often talking about this, we're talking about that. Like, I want to see how can we, approach different topics differently, or whatever, and maybe cover some areas that I haven't, thought to do. And I'm like, who is that? Who is it I know that is a great speaker? Can definitely talk their ass off. We've talked about this before. and more importantly, cares about and knows their stuff, like myself and Danny. Danny knows his stuff. He loves it. I love it. I know my stuff. I think you probably, in some ways, outshine me, and I have no shame or ego to say, hey, you do this better than me, right? That's fine with me, and I think that would strengthen the show. So you came to mind. I was like, let me ask Crusader this. And I know some things were happening in the background with you and your former podcast. And I'm like,
yeah,
let me see what's up with them. But maybe you can share a bit of, if you're comfortable, if you want to share any of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So for those of you who were fans of TXR, we used to be on Sunday nights. We've been on hiatus for over a year now because our host Invader, his house flooded during the Toronto floods last year, real bad. And we haven't been able to get back, and he's had a lot of life changes since then, so he's just not coming back to the scene. And literally, like, the same day, like, totally separate. These were totally independent events. Same day that Invader told us he wasn't coming back was the same day that Umbra asked me to be a permanent host here. I'm like, yeah, sure. I think not Invader. I think Umbra asked me, like, 2 hours before Invader sent us something. So it couldn't have the timing couldn't have been better for the two things. So, and I'm sure Danny's gonna love having someone who loves playing 25-year-old games as much as he does on this show.
I mean, look, who else? who else would do the things that we do?
I know, right? Who else would willingly buy all of their friends a $2 copy of Alice Madness Returns because it is the best?
That's love.
I do own that.
That's what that is.
I would never subject any of my friends to it, but I do own that.
Yeah,
I love it. It's actually one of my favorite games of all time. I love Alice Madness Returns. And there's a joke in my friend group that whenever it goes on sale, if I realize someone hasn't been sent it yet, they get Aliced.
Oh my god.
Aliced. You get Aliced. You've been Aliced. But yeah, man. Yeah, brother. Thank you.
I got Aliced this morning.
Yeah.
I can't go to work. I got Aliced.
Right. What's that? No, don't worry about it. But yeah, brother, thank you for joining us, man. It's always a pleasure to speak with you and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
So good knowledge.
I've missed being on a show regularly.
Yeah, man.
I truly have.
When I would tune in at times to TXR, of course, and I mean we've had you here, so I know how you know your stuff. But I've always like, oh man, this you're like a highlight of the show, because again, I know you know your stuff, and you care.
Yeah, and sometimes the audience would get mad at me there because that was a completely Xbox centric podcast, and I am a very Xbox centric person. Anyone who goes and looks at my Twitter account and looks at the games that I've played in a given year, absolute vast majority, we're talking over 90% are played on Xbox or with the Xbox PC app and Xbox, right? Like
Right.
Simultaneously. Or they're modded games, and the two big modded games that I play on PC are Minecraft and Skyrim, which are also owned by Microsoft now.
There you go.
So, I did fit in there, but I would be highly critical, and a lot of the fans didn't like that there. A lot of the fans here like it when I'm real critical of everyone.
Yeah.
So, I fit better here.
There you go.
I think long term.
See? Yeah. It was meant to be. So, much like I asked Cork, what have you been up to, brother? Like gaming, TV shows, aside from work, of course. I know you've been working hard. But...
Oh yeah, I've been working like a dog recently, but I have been playing a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna go over the last week. I played both Bad Company games. I played a lot of Bad Company 2 multiplayer back in the day, but I didn't ever actually finish more than the first two missions of the campaign of Bad Company 2, and I'd never touched Bad Company 1. I thought Bad Company 1 was bad. I thought it was not a good game. Bad Company 2, on the other hand, is, hey, you know those characters that were likable in the first game? What if we put them in a good game? And so I really enjoyed Bad Company 2 a lot. I've been playing Gears of War Reloaded co-op. We're in the final act with my one friend on the second highest difficulty.
Yeah.
That's been a lot of fun. I picked up Helldivers, but I've been basically having to pick between playing the Gears of War co-op campaign or playing Helldivers. And we've been playing the Gears of War co-op campaign primarily, and I'm going to play Helldivers this weekend. I did buy the crossover. What are they called? Warbond. I did buy that. I'm going to be playing that heavily.
Oh yeah.
I had purchased Helldivers on my PS5 originally, but I returned it because of how bad the first 3 weeks were with the server instability. And and my friends were all on PC, and I had it on PlayStation, and the crossplay just didn't work for those 3 weeks, even when the servers got more stable. So I'm really excited to jump into that. I've really wanted to play Helldivers because I know I'll love it. But I just didn't get into it. Happy I waited to rebuy it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what better time than now? It's something, man. It's Helldivers. I'm seeing mixed reactions. A lot of positivity, but it's some people are like, oh, this is it. This is boring, and I think they probably expected more, but this is purely multiplayer creativity sandbox fun. What you're doing in here, you kind of craft your own adventure when it comes to it. You go do the goals that you have, your mission parameters, and you go and have fun the way you want to, pretty much. However you cover that job that you have to do, you do it however you need to.
I think one of the big things that people need to realize is that game is meant to be played with at least one other person that you are on comms with. That's what makes games like Helldivers or Left 4 Dead or stuff 10, 20, 100 times more fun.
I agree. Yeah, trying to play it alone, especially, it depends on who you go against. And if anyone has ever played this yet, if you go against the automatons rather, the robots, and you're gonna suffer. Even with people, it's tough. But by yourself, oh no, it's pretty much impossible. I'm not saying that someone can't do it. I'm sure there's some super try hard out there. I'm doing my job, but doing my part rather. But it's tough. But that said, when they had the new update, I haven't played it yet. I got it on PS5 and I got it on PC, and I have not played the update where they got these squid enemies or whatever in the city and all that in the metropolis. But I've heard that since Xbox gamers joined in, they went directly to that, and it was something like the color of purple. They reminded them of the Covenant, I guess, and they got right to it. And have been clearing
said the color
out.
purple, and I said, we brought Oprah in this? What's happening?
Right.
What's going on?
You told Hoppo to hit me. But yeah. But yeah, man.
No one's going to understand these references.
I know, right. Where's Cap when you need him? I understood that.
Was this actually just the color purple movie reference in this podcast?
That was.
What, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, that is my mother's favorite movie.
Is it? Oh man,
Yeah.
Look at that. See, we touch all types of generations with our content here. That's what we do here on The Fix. Everybody gets their fix. Our mothers and elders included. So, what's up, Palpy? But yeah, man, thank you again, Crusader, for joining us, brother. And it'll be fun to have you on as a permanent member. Quark, I don't know if you had shared. Did you play anything recently?
Oh no, I completely forgot about that part of the combo. I've been playing a lot of Helldivers 2 again. I bought it on Steam. And yeah, Crusader's right. It was a horrible mess at the start. It was pretty bad. I debated on refunding it, but I was like, I worked in game development, like I said, so I was like, I'm gonna give them a chance. Let me see how they handle this, because that'll tell you a lot about a studio right there when it comes out. So they handled it well. They got everything back in shape. I mean, it was trying times, but yeah, I've been playing Helldivers. I did the first level of Gears of War Reloaded, but it's right now it's 2v8 for Dead by Daylight, and they're given like 5 times blood points. So yeah, I've just pretty much been grinding on Dead by Daylight right now, just so I could level up some killers and survivors and stuff on the pretty easily with that extra boost.
You know, I've never played Dead by Daylight.
It's yeah, it's not for everybody, and it's a very hard game to get into. Like the learning curve
Yeah.
is pretty steep. You're gonna get smoked probably, you know, for a little while, a few days, and then once you start like unlocking survivors and things, you definitely got to spend also a little money on it, which kind of sucks. But you know, once you find like a groove and it's a work, and you know, it's definitely a lot of work to get started. So I don't blame people for not wanting to get into it, because once they do, and then they're like, wait, what is this? And it's very daunting.
Okay. I have seen some people's gameplay of it. It does look fun. Maybe not necessarily my go-to kind of game, but it does look fun. Like, you know, I've seen people playing with like Michael Myers running around and stuff like that. And some people like so good at it and how they escape from the killer, and like you can find a trap door and everything. I'm like, wow, like these people know their stuff. So
Oh, yeah, like asymmetrical is my jam. So like
Yeah.
I've played almost all of them. The only one I don't think I did play was the Evil Dead one, but yeah, Texas, Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th, all those games are my jam.
Nick, he said, Abdel said Nick Cage is in it.
Yeah, they added Nick Cage. It's like when he did his that one movie. There was one movie he came out in that was like kind of a little supernatural-ish or whatever. Yeah, he's in it, Nick Cage. They got Stranger Things. They have Castlevania. So like Dracula's in there. They got Michael Myers.
Dracula?
They have Alan Wake.
Yeah, they have Alan Wake.
They have Alan Wake in there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That was like a big like crossover when Alan Wake 2 was coming out. They had
Yeah.
him in that and Fortnite.
I had
One of those
no
things is
idea.
not like the other.
You know, I just
Yeah.
thought about it. He said he was on stage with Keeley. That's right, he did come on. I forgot all about that. Yeah, I forgot
They have a
about that.
lot of like crazy crossovers where you'd like really not like, you know, it's not all horror like kind of focused, which is kind of cool. So yeah.
He said his Reforge in it.
I
Yeah. Yeah, man, that sounds fun. You ever stream any of your gameplay? Like you guys gameplay with that or?
used to. I've been thinking about it. Like, I've been thinking about going back to like kind of like streaming live streams and stuff like that. I just got to find the right time for it and everything. But I've thought about it. It's a cool game to stream because like people can definitely get into it because it does get some pretty intense moments.
Okay. And last but not least, of course, my illustrious co-host, co-star, and also permanent member, mind you, Daniel J. McGee. What's up, Danny? What have you been up to, brother? How you been?
How we doing? You know, I've done kind of a lot this week actually. Watched that first episode of Peacemaker. Looks like season 2 is going to be pretty good.
It was pretty good, huh? The intro, the
Yeah.
season premiere.
There was, I think the second episode might be out and I haven't watched it yet, but I did watch the first one. There is exactly one scene in it that was surprising to me. I wasn't expecting an extended orgy scene in the first episode. But that did happen and we all saw it. Wow. But it's looking like it's going to be really funny. It's truly one of my favorite things to come out of DC in the last little while, like 10 years, has been the first season of Peacemaker. So I'm pretty excited for season 2, and it's looking like it's going to shape up pretty good.
I saw that they had changed like the ending of season 1 or whatever it was, where they had like the Justice League or whatever show up.
Yeah, so they do like a previously on thing in the beginning of the first episode. And because Peacemaker is now canon to the DCU, they had to change what the ending of the first season was.
Right.
Not like the actual content of it, but there was like a joke at the end of it where the Justice League shows up. And obviously the Justice League doesn't exist in this universe now. So they changed it so that instead of the people who show up at the end of the original season, it's the Justice Gang from Superman, so Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl, as well as Superman and Supergirl. So those 5 are there, and he like says some stuff to Guy Gardner, and I guess they have some existing relationship. They didn't actually change it in the final episode of the first season. Like if you still watch the first season, that's still in there, but in the previously on, they change it there, which I think is good. You know, you just kind of be like, hey, this is what really happened, and then you just move on with it. Because I think if you focus on it and like try really hard to justify around it too much, then you just make it more complicated and more annoying.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's cool. But yeah, I have to actually get caught up on that actually. But no, I've only heard good things about it. So
yeah, it's pretty good. And then I've also been playing a lot of for Ready Set Replay. I've been playing The Legend of Mana, which is quite the game. It's
now this is the
like
throwback,
remaster of it,
right?
or are you playing?
Yeah,
you're
I'm playing
playing the
the
original. Oh,
Okay.
you're playing
I'm playing the
the
remaster.
remaster.
The remaster really doesn't change like a ton, to be fair,
Sure.
other than visuals. So that's just the easiest way to get to it. So we're just touching that one.
How you feeling about it?
It's pretty good, and it might be because the last like 3 games that we've played on the series before this have all been not
You
good.
won't like
maybe-
it.
so I-
Yeah.
No, well, because back to back we did Daikatana, Medieval 2, and Wario Land 3. And Wario Land 3 is like pretty well received, I think, in general. But I just wasn't a big fan of it because it's super, super annoying.
Wario.
Yeah. So this one feels like the first functional and good game that we've played in a while. So I guess maybe on that level, it's maybe coming across as more positive in my mind.
And the Medieval, you're talking about the one with the PlayStation property, right? With the skeleton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the only video game characters I can think of with my same first name, Sir Daniel Fortescue.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I forgot that was his name, actually. Yeah.
He's a pretty easy to forget character. Honestly, the only reason that I even knew he existed was because he showed up in PlayStation All Stars. So, but yeah, Legend of Mana, its story is very weird because it's the 3rd or 4th, I think, in the Seiken Densetsu, whatever the hell series, the Legend series.
Right.
And when they got to it, they were like, well, we want this to be a thing where we can tell all kinds of different stories in the same world. And so it doesn't really have like one unified story. It is sort of almost like in that Bethesda way of like, I'm going to go do the Thieves Guild story. I'm going to go do that shit. So there's like 3 main stories in it that you can go off and do basically whenever you want. Although there are some instances where you sort of like do one thing and then lock yourself out of it, which kind of sucked ass. But all 3 of those stories, at least as far as I've gotten in them, are pretty good. It's entertaining enough. Combat's like super easy, which is both a positive and a negative, I guess, depending on where you are with it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty good fun. I've never touched any of the Mana games before, and I know that they're like relatively popular. They're like a B tier Square Enix JRPG franchise, from what I understand.
Right.
So like basically just below Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, probably. Like it's probably that 3rd tier underneath those. But yeah, man, what a game that exists. And it also has so much DNA of Kingdom Hearts. And I'm going to probably have to look into that because I am relatively confident that probably a lot of people who worked on this ended up working on Kingdom Hearts. Because you can just feel it.
You can feel it, huh? The magic.
Yeah.
The power. Yeah, I've never really fully played through any of the Mana games, but I did some emulation. So I had what was the old school one on that was like on Nintendo or whatever? I forgot the name of it. Is it Legend? That's not Legend. That's
Legends did the 3rd one. There's Trial and there's Secret.
Secret. That's the one.
Yeah.
Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
I see a few people in the chat. What's that? What's that face for, Blue? I know why you put those faces in there. But yeah, yeah, man. I gotta try that out. The third one here. This is not the modern one, right? This is not the one that's like cel shaded, right? This is that you're talking about.
No, I think you're probably thinking of, they just did a remake of Trials of Mana that came out.
Okay, that's the one.
I want to say in the last like 2 years or something.
Right.
that is, I think, the most like modern release.
Well, they just released a brand new one.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I have not.
Yeah,
been
yeah,
paying
it was at the
attention to this
Xbox
franchise,
Dev Direct last year.
at all.
Huh.
What
Yeah,
was
it
that
was
one called?
Visions. I think.
Visions of
Visions.
Mana.
That's right. People didn't care for
okay.
it too much.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Actually,
That's right. Yeah.
I know the homie Miles Dampier. He was always hyping up the newest one, which was the cell shaded modernization, which was, you say, Secret of Mana, was it? Not Secret. I literally just forgot.
Trials of Mana.
Trials,
Probably.
yeah.
That one definitely looks cell shaded when you look at it. But it might have. I mean, it may have been the newest one that they're talking about.
I wonder if the one I can't remember, but yeah, I know he was hyping it up, and it did look beautiful, and he was talking about it often. Speaking of Miles, gotta try to get him on the show. Our schedules are conflicting because it's work, but I'm gonna try to have to get him. It's him and Lord Cognito. We want to have to do like a pre-record for, but they're both down to jump in with us at a point.
I just talked to him earlier today. I was just congratulating him on the Halloween game that they're releasing, and told him, hey, if you need anything from the Xbox subreddit, let me know. I'll promote it, whatever. If you guys want to do AMAs and stuff, he's like, yeah, I'll let you know. So
nice,
cool dude. He's always been a great dude.
Perfect. Yeah, Miles is a good brother. I know, of course, his last game that they had, I believe, was the killer clowns from outer space, right?
Yeah, and I think, didn't they do Predator Hunting Grounds?
They did.
Yeah.
So they re-released that on X. They updated that for like PS5. They updated version on PC, and they released it on Xbox as well. Since he's been there.
Yeah, he's been busy. I can tell you that, because every time I was like, oh man, and he's always so nice about it. Like, Miles has to be the nicest person I've talked to in the space. I'm just being real. I don't think I've ever seen a negative tweet from him, and I've looked like, hold on, why aren't you mean? But he's just a good brother. That said, what's to say? Nerds, my brother Nerd says, speaking of Predator Alien, they are doing so many awesome things with it. Yeah, they are. The Predator Killers, if you all seen that was spectacular, man. And then, of course, they got the Alien Earth. That was really good. Oh, it's been good, should I say. Yeah. Yeah, Assassin, my brother. What's up, brother? He says, never knew you were a Prince of Persia fanboy. Listen, I like Metroidvanias, and this is somewhat of that, though this one is more of the roguelike. This is a roguelike one. But the Prince of Persia Lost Crown, that is a Metroidvania. I love that. I think it is one of the best Metroidvanias ever created. Literally.
That should have gotten way more nominations.
Way more.
Even Game of the Year kind of talk for it. I think it was sorely underrated for what it did.
100% agree. If you all have not played Prince of Persia Lost Crown, do yourself a favor and play it. It's magnificent. If you like Ori, for instance, Ori is a Metroidvania. You can't play Ori and be like, oh, that's great, and not like that. Lost Crown is spectacular. Yeah, it puts me in mind of like Guacamelee. Guacamelee is a Metroidvania, but it has combat similar, right, in the way. Guacamelee is great. That's a great Metroidvania. But anyway, all of that said, again, we for those who had not been here yet, Crusader is joining us as a permanent panel member. So you all please give Crusader a warm welcome. Yay! I gotta start adding some sound effects. Hold on. Do I have applause here? I don't think I have an applause.
You gotta get that grunt birthday party pop in there.
8 trillion. Let me see if I got one.
This is your official welcome in right here. Hey, Crusader, we happy to have you, brother.
Oh, that's hurt. That actually hurt.
Well, it was nice having you. I understand why you've decided to leave the company.
We can't talk about that, Assassin. We can't talk about that. He said, how much did I bribe you? You got to keep that under wraps. But yeah, we are also, for those that don't know, we're also approaching 100 episodes. So this, I believe, is the 95th episode right here. So by next month, we'll be going live with a bunch of creators, big time people you all obviously know. And they'll be, here to blow our ego up. So that's what we're here for. Congratulate us on 100 episodes. please come by. I want to have a record turnout akin to when I had Dealer and Rand and everybody else on the show. We had them on at a time. I want to have something like that. That'll be nice. But yeah, I guess that's enough for the old housekeeping. Oh, for myself, I had been playing a bunch of things. One of them has been Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which I meant to put in the gameplay here. I forgot all about it, and I literally put it as the game to showcase and still did not put it on here. But that does not include Mr. Bushido Assassin. I see that. But yeah, man, Shinobi, it is dope. Like, I've played the Ragebound, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. That's pretty good. I would say it's definitely worth the purchase. Shinobi, I think, might be a bit better. I dare say. Shout out to Lizard Cube. They do their stuff. They're much like, .emu, what they do in the old retro games, modernizing them. It has like a nice combat system to it, where you wouldn't think it'll be so much more in depth. Like the old Shinobi was a hack and slash kind of, I would slash and throw a kunai or whatever at you and keep it moving. Well, here you do a little more. You can do combos and stuff like that and extend your combos and how will you move by rolling when you do it. It's a lot of elaborate things you can do in this with that. You got the ninjutsu and a ninpo attacks and magic attacks, basically. It just looks, for one, it's beautiful because it has this painterly, art painterly style going about it. Really nice. It's really nice. I am maybe 12 or 13 hours into it. Loving it. And it's a lot of that's also somewhat Metroidvania-ish, by the way. Somewhat. You do backtrack, and once you get new abilities, you can go back to the previous stages to get collectibles and stuff like that. It's really dope. And also, I don't know if I can say this. I hope I can. If not, nobody spread the word. I played Replaced. Ooh. Yeah, I've played a preview build of Replaced, and I liked it a lot. I have to tell you, I was like, how you play in something, you're like, man, I wish it was more. Like that's the feeling I got once the preview ended. I was like, no more. Boo! It was really, really good, man. It looks gorgeous. For one, it's it's a 2D, 2.5D kind of styling going to it. Has that nice, flat style when you're up front as your character, but then the background has, and the elements around you as you move have more of a 3D-esque element to it. It looks really, really good. The lighting is nice. The world atmosphere is cool. I'm intrigued by what the story could be. I won't give much more away than that. And speaking of that, we will try to have one of the co-founder of that studio, as well as one of the creators in the game, Yura, here as a guest in the near future. He's already agreed to do it, so that will be fun. I think maybe it'll be closer to the time, maybe next year when it's about to drop, because it's dropping in spring, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think so. I wanted to say it looks a lot like, I don't know if you guys remember the old Flashback game.
Yep.
And Out of This World.
Out of This World and Flashback. Yeah. Absolutely love those games.
It reminds me a lot of that game, which I'm excited for because I love those games.
Mm-hmm. I get the same vibe. I know, and I was thinking to mention it, but I didn't think anybody else would know it. But thank you, you knew it. I was like, nobody won't. Yeah. If I said Out of This World, nobody would be like, what is that? So, but no, I forget. I'm surrounded by actual gamers here. You all know your stuff. I doubted you all. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's very reminiscent of those. Yeah. That said, yeah, let's move into the news roundup.
Let's see. We got a couple of things. Nothing too crazy. Maybe a slower week this week. But we've got, apparently id Software is hiring up for a new unannounced project. Who's to say what that could possibly be? As far as I'm aware, I don't think we know any projects coming out of them right now. They put out Dark Ages earlier this year, so
They have DLCs that have to come to
right.
that.
But like full games, I don't think we know anything.
No.
So could this be a sequel to Doom? Yes. Could this be them taking on one of the other 40 Doom clones that they now own, potentially? Could it be like a Heretic or a Hexen or whatever? You know, Phil Spencer loves his Hexen.
Mm-hmm.
He does love his Hexen.
Who's to say? It could be quite literally anything.
So, has everyone here played Dark Ages?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
I loved it.
I also very much loved it. So if you've played Dark Ages, I have a distinct feeling that it is going to be a very specific thing, and that they're going to be tying two franchises together. I have a feeling that we're going to get Quake.
Could make sense.
Because, I mean, listen, I literally just finished Doom Dark Ages last week. I played it over the weekend, and when you release Cthulhu, I was like, "Am I sure I'm not playing Quake?" And so I've had everything about it screamed, I wonder if they're gonna try and tie Quake and Doom together into like one kind of like shared world.
That'd be interesting. Maybe finally have
Especially
something
with
to
that,
use for
like-
QuakeCon, right?
Especially with
Finally,
that
yeah,
chick
yeah.
that has like the magic powers.
Oh
Because she has like the soul of the one god from like that dimension in her. I'm just kind of like they're easily setting themselves up that like she could be the main character of like a spin-off in the Doom universe that's not necessarily Doom, and they could just tie Quake and Doom together.
The princess. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool, actually. I was almost gonna say, like, well, could it be something with what's the other studio I'm thinking of? I was thinking of Machine Games, and so I had it wrong. I'm thinking like, oh wait, could it be
Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein or something? Like, no, it's not that. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what else it could be. I mean, that would be cool if it was like I was saying, Quake. I suppose because it has been a long time coming for them with Quake. They haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
so
really
that'd be cool.
thought that we were gonna get a Quake game and not
Not a new
whatchamacallit?
Doom.
Not a new Doom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was actually shocked when we got Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah. But speaking of, I mean, Doom does not. This Dark Ages did not get enough love, by the way. I feel like people were kind of negative toward it. I don't know why, but I thought it was dope. So I'm actually looking forward to whatever they're working on right now.
Yeah, I wasn't. I thought Doom was good. I thought Doom: The Dark Ages was good. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was in that like people were shouting like game of the year, and I was like, I don't know. It has some issues. I think a little bit with the pacing. They tried to like switch it in a little bit with like the dragon and everything like that.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a solid maybe like 7 or 8. I just feel like it's just missing some of that like Doom part of it, like the brutality. Where was the brutality? Like you had all the like grotesque, like demons and everything, and you had that like that evilness about it, but like where was the Doom brutality from it? I was like so disheartened when like I got the execution prompt, and I was like, oh yeah, here we go, and then he was just like, boop, just a little punch, and I was like, oh,
You telling me
so
they
underwhelmed.
gave you the old blue balls quirk?
Yeah, I was hyped. I was like, all right, here we go.
Here it
And then,
is.
yeah, it was just like boop,
It
and I
was
was
like
like,
punch.
yeah, what was that? Like,
He like, well, maybe the next one will do it. Punch.
yeah, nope. Like the dragon is more brutal than Doom Guy. Like,
Oh yeah, the dragon
Yeah,
literally
I
opened
thought
his mouth and
the-
breathed down the fire down it.
yeah,
Definitely the absence of glory kills was missed, except for like in the boss fights. Gameplay wise, it was actually my favorite gameplay wise.
I agree.
But like if I had to rank them, they're all pretty close. This one would be my favorite. But I really loved Doom Eternal's fast movement. That scratched the like ADHD brain.
yeah. It felt more
But, like,
boomer shooter a little bit, I think, or not.
I
boomer
don't think
shooter-ish,
id Software has made a bad game in the last
Yeah, I agree. I think
since Doom 2016,
since
really.
since the reboot, if you will. I agree with that. Doom's
I will say
2016 and I think Dark Ages are my favorite in this new, I guess restart, and then
The
Eternal will be
fights-
third, I guess for me.
The fights in Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2 for the DLCs for Eternal are awesome.
I didn't play those. Yeah,
Oh, they're good. They're really good.
they're good.
the DLC is really, really good for Eternal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
The only
10
thing-
out of 10 recommend.
The only thing
They're
I didn't
better-
like about
they're better than
Eternal
the
was
base
like
game.
I didn't like how you had to like, oh, you got to do this to get this. Like I like the more. I like when you play a game. I like like for instance, if I play as Master Chief, you got the power fantasy going. I don't need to have to do this to get this, but so I can kill you in so many ways, basically. And I think Dark Ages does that better, where you get the ammo that you need or whatever, or so many different weapons that you can use. Versus Eternal, where I have to chainsaw you to get this, or I have to do this to get that. That's the only thing I did not like about it, as far as the combat and in general. But yeah, other than that, I do also like the old Captain America shield we got here.
Yeah.
That was fun to use, and also to traverse with too. So that was cool. But yeah, what else did we have, Danny?
Let's see. This is an interesting one. It has implications, but we don't know for sure what it's going to work out to be yet. For some reason, you can now use your Xbox account to buy games on GOG, which is, I think, a really good thing. I'm a proponent for GOG. It's in a lot of ways, it's my favorite of the PC marketplaces. I think they do a really good job of preservation and bringing forth like older games. That's something that the digital landscape has like really not given a shit about, frankly, and they do a really good job of it. So I do really appreciate them on that level. What does this mean? I'm not 100%
I can tell you what this
sure.
means.
Could this be okay? Go for it.
100% I can tell you what this means. So number one, it's basically a lot of things. It's what's called OAuth. It is basically you're using your Microsoft account to authenticate to sign into a non-Microsoft service. It's very common. You can do this with like EA Origins and stuff like that. I think you're going to see Steam also do it soon too. It's the first preliminary step in making it so that on the Xbox PC app, you can list the entire uninstalled library and install your games from other stores through the app. Because you have to have your accounts talk together. And this is more than just being able to use your Microsoft account in GOG. You can link your Microsoft account to an existing GOG account, so that they in a sense they can data share between the two. And while it's not the case that like that integration's in, that's coming, and it's to me more evidence that we're gonna see an Xbox console that integrates the PC stores and integrates them well.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it would be really nice because
Particularly.
right now you can see the games that you have installed. GOG in particular is a little painful because games with GOG, a lot of the old ones that are preserved on GOG, it's kind of like GOG's whole point. They don't actually install like regular apps on your computer because they're so old. They just kind of download some files and you just run an executable. They don't enter into your registry. Like they don't make edits to your registry, which means the Xbox app can't really pick them up. So if you ever install games with GOG and you're like, why is the new Xbox app not picking up these GOG games? That's why. They're literally so old that they don't install like modern programs. And this helps with that because if you can link them together and GOG is saying that this game directly is installed, like the two accounts can actually communicate with each other and data share. And this is a very important step in that. I was very excited to see this today. And I can confirm you can link an existing account to one. I linked my account. I did all the testing today. It's not well documented, and it's kind of obtuse as to how you have to do it because you have to do it through the local application on the computer. You can't do it through a web browser. But it works really well. And now I can just click one button and I can sign in with my Microsoft account that I've signed into my PC with, and it just works. Everything just works immediately. It's great.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
basically the only thing that I was hoping that this would mean was being able to, I mean, basically exactly what you said, is being able to like access that library on the actual Xbox. So
Yeah, and what was
Really
really
cool.
interesting was literally like 3 hours after that, Microsoft released an Xbox Wire post. It's basically their August. These are all the updates we released, and these are some of the updates that we're doing in the next couple days before August is over. And one of the things they expressly called out is their intention to allow you to download and install games from other applications through the Xbox native app. They didn't directly call out this linking with GOG as like a step in that, but if they're saying they want to do that, and we're seeing this kind of account linking with GOG, I can with almost certainty guarantee to you that's coming.
nice. Yeah.
Noise.
Yeah.
I look forward to just being able to have all my libraries on my Xbox and not having to jump between shit.
Well, and imagine if they all use your Xbox account, and you have the new Xbox console that's like got that streamlined version of Windows that we're seeing on the ROG Ally X. Just imagine like you sign into the console like you normally do right now, but it automatically also signs you into Steam, into GOG, into everything, one account. You don't even have to put in any other credentials in your Microsoft account. All your games are there. You can just click install on any of them. You can browse all the stores. That sounds so awesome. And it sounds like the consolification of a PC environment. No, like, remove the hassle.
So now, if you could, Crusader, because this was more of a major topic I know you wanted to introduce.
Sure.
Now, the people are saying like, "Oh, can I transfer my digital library, or better yet, can I access? We have like a digital Xbox license, basically." For Xbox, how exactly? Because I know basically it's like having another storefront, right? Like we'll have obviously Steam,
exactly.
and such.
Yep.
So, but this is just really just buying your games on GOG itself. It's not
correct. It would just be that they're integrated and like seamlessly, even though you've bought them on another store. They would just be in the same list of library as your Xbox One is. And if you look at the Xbox app right now on your computer and you have multiple games installed, there's actually a little symbol that tells you the source of where they're installed. If there's no symbol, it's just the Xbox store. If there's a Game Pass symbol, it's installed because you have a Game Pass license. But there's also the Steam logos, there's EA logos, there's GOG logo, there is Battle.net, right? And it like, so you can kind of see how it would look right now based on the way they've made the Xbox store work right now, where it can auto detect the other stuff. But what it can't do right now is it can't see games that you don't have installed from those other sources.
Right.
Like I have probably 70 GOG games right now that I've been claiming from Amazon Prime. By the way, if you have Prime, go to Prime Gaming and claim the GOG codes that they put up like 10 a month.
They do.
And they're just free games that you can add to your GOG account. They're permanent additions.
They're very generous. And, I got on it way late, but I have a good maybe 30 games right now currently with them. But yeah.
And there's some great classic games. And right now, my Xbox app cannot see the games I don't have installed. But the handful I do have installed, it can see them. And so this kind of account linking where you're allowing Microsoft and GOG to share data between the accounts allows, in the end, will allow Microsoft to hopefully create an ecosystem where, like, there's basically a GOG plugin in the Xbox app, like, basically, I don't want to say a DLC, but that's like the gamer term that everyone would know. For me, it would be a plugin for the app that will allow you to directly manage your GOG library and stuff. Maybe even integrate the GOG store into it, and it'll just tell you you're purchasing from GOG.
That would be
Who
dope.
knows?
That would be
that's
the next
cool,
step, right? Like that seems to be the next step.
Cool.
Yeah. Because like that's the thing I've heard other people ask that too. Like, what's the next step? Because having the games integrated that you buy is one thing that'll populate and see, but like, can you
Right.
access the stores? For instance, like if I'm on a, ROG Ally, and to really streamline that, will I be able to just go through their storefront inside of that without having to, step out of it and move to another application?
Without having to pop out.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that with Steam, like I don't know if they'll integrate like all of the storefronts in. I can almost guarantee though that there will be a button that'll say hop over to Steam, and it'll just switch you to Steam. What I can't tell you is if they'll have, if they'll just straight up. So to answer your question, Tegan, no, GOG games do not currently work on Xbox. This is very likely like a very preliminary step towards the next Xbox that's coming. That's going to be more PC-like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
This is even bigger than that. They're
Yeah.
setting up the groundwork
Yes.
for the next console.
Yep, and they're setting up basically they're trying to make the short term. It is just you can just use your Microsoft account to sign into another store. You don't have to actually make a GOG account separate. You can just use your Microsoft account, sign in. That's just a raw level of convenience, right? That's the very basic level of what it does today. Medium term, even before the Xbox console comes out, it'll make your life on the ROG Ally likely a little easier. In the medium term before an Xbox console come out. But yeah, like this is really cool, and I think a lot of people are skipping over what it means for to me this outright confirms that at least Microsoft is planning and is really trying to make the next Xbox have all of these other stores on it, because like why else would like GOG be making a big deal out of it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love all of that, by the way. I wonder, though, what now do you think, because I know one of the things we spoke on before, and I've seen you mention, for instance, on Twitter, is the inclusion of our library from Xbox to really fully bring us into, hey, this is an Xbox. Now, they've changed their messaging, which I think was smart. It's no longer this is an Xbox, right? And what did they change it to? I forgot.
I don't know.
Yeah, the different messaging, more or less, is no more like, oh, this is an Xbox, which I guess some people took umbrage with, but...
So, I took umbrage with it.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
I took major issue with it,
yeah.
Right? Because Xbox for the last 10 years, like since the June 2015 with, what was it? E3, when they announced the Xbox 360 stuff was coming backwards compatible, the Xbox One.
Oh yeah.
Ever since then, their entire messaging has been compatibility. Like that has been like the core thing that you could expect with every Xbox console. That like not only was it going to do cooler things for like existing stuff, but it was going to upgrade stuff. So they did that, and then the Xbox One X came out, and like 360 games suddenly could get 4K patches. Right, and you could get like auto the Hutchie method upgrades, and some of the like Final Fantasy the 13 series looks better on Xbox One X and Series X than literally anywhere else because of stuff Microsoft did. And then with the Series X, they continued to add more games to backwards compatibility, and they did auto HDR automatic upgrades, and they did FPS boosts, and they did the automatic 16x anisotropic filtering. And they did all these cool upgrades that just make your games look and run better on their consoles for 10 years. And suddenly they're releasing an Xbox branded piece of hardware that isn't compatible. In fact, it's only compatible with about, I think, something like 16% of games that are sold on the Xbox store. Because there's a lot of games that are, Play Anywhere. It's over 1,000. But there's like 6,000 games on the Xbox store right now. And it's just not compatible with all of them. That being said, I can almost guarantee that outside of maybe physical, like I don't know if the next console is going to have a physical support at all, but I can almost guarantee the next console will definitely support all of your games. Because like at a minimum, it'll have a dual boot mode, the boot into like an actual console specific mode versus a Windows PC mode, so that they can sell it as a console. They don't have to worry about the licensing, yada yada.
Right.
Will all of Windows eventually get it? Well, they're hiring people to build new emulators and stuff like that right now. And like Jason Ronald retweeted out their hiring thing. Come hire with us to make sure games exist in more places and stuff like that. So I think their goal is to have all Xbox games on PC, and I think their goal is to turn the concept of a console from being the hardware box to being more of a software distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't know if all Windows PCs will be able to do it, but I suspect that at a minimum, they're going to try to make those custom handhelds do it.
See,
And again, I don't know anything about physical. I hope that there will be even like an external USB reader that they'll allow to do physical games.
I wonder.
Don't know if they will.
Well, wouldn't it be like easy for? I mean, because if you got the physical, I guess one of the tricks is how could they convert that to a digital license? Would they be able to
Correct.
do that?
There's no real good way. I mean, that was part of the whole plan with like the Xbox One release was that the Xbox One games were supposed to come with a digital code, and then you'd have the physical disc for installation. And everyone revolted against that. And rightly so. At the time, that was like a huge shift towards DRM, and Microsoft absolutely should have not have pushed that when they did. They could have pushed that this generation.
That's the funniest part. I keep saying like Microsoft is typically kind of ahead of the game. So like it wasn't wrong necessarily. It was just way too early, I think, for people to accept.
Yeah. So I don't know if like I'd almost guarantee the next console, like if they don't support the absolute vast majority of games that the Series X can play, they will not hear the end of it. It will be they will have a very bad PR time. Like the Series X doesn't support everything the Xbox One did. It does not support Kinect stuff. But that's like less than like 0.1% of games that are on the Xbox One. So there was no reason to be exceptionally upset about it. I personally think they should release compatibility for the Kinect and preserve those games, but I'm the guy who's begging them to bring back games like Alien Colonial Marines. So, I'm on the other end of the spectrum of, hey, make everything available.
So let me ask you all, what is a reasonable I guess what's a reasonable measure, right? And this is to all of you. And Cork, I guess I can start with you on it if you want to jump in. And what's a reasonable compromise? Like say they can't get everything, right? Because they're working on it, obviously. If you're paying attention, we know they got the Play Anywhere thing popping. They're going to have 1,000+ games that's curated to play just right and tuned just right for the device. Like they're doing a lot of smart moves right now. What is a reasonable compromise? Does it have to be every game needs to be playable in your library? Or let's say they have 70%. Let's say 65%, 50%, half. What is acceptable for you all? And if they can't, let's say they don't necessarily get all of your games playable through the device, is that a deal breaker for you?
Not really. I mean, there's going to be technical limitations. We all know that. I think Microsoft can communicate those to let people know, why they can't do it, or if there is something, because that's what they had the issues with, with the SDK and GDK, with the whole Marvel versus Capcom thing and how it worked with what they were doing there, trying to bring it. It wasn't an Xbox issue per se. It was more so Capcom just didn't want to put the extra effort in to switch over their engine to be compatible with the GDK because it's a port. You don't waste a ton of money on ports. And I think a lot of that is either going to be just like I said, some engines might not be compatible with the old stuff. Might be for the time being, they're keeping the GDK. I haven't heard anything. I don't see why they get rid of it. I mean, pretty much developers are developing on both PC and Xbox basically or consoles at the same time with the GDK. So it's a win-win for developers. So I can't see why Microsoft or Xbox would go away from the GDK. But yeah, of course, there's going to be technical limitations. There's going to be some hurdles, things like that. Honestly, I would say at least if they have most of the modern games from like the Xbox One and on, I mean, let's be honest, not a lot of people. Backward compatibility is great. I think it's awesome. It's game preservation, but not a lot of people are playing them. And it's very rare that you're gonna have somebody go all the way back to Xbox One, OG, to boot up a game when it could just be ported. It's easier to port now, and then the companies can make more money off of it. That's the whole point of porting. So I would say it would, for me, it wouldn't be more so about percentage wise. For me, it would be date wise. How far back are they going to go for support? And keep that support. And that's just what it is for me. And I get their messaging too about this as an Xbox. I think people took it literally when it was supposed to be more figuratively. About it wasn't, an Xbox, hasn't really been a console company, but people kept treating them like a console company, only a console company. It's like that's never, Xbox. Yeah, that was just a method to get in, maybe since the 360. But once they switched over to the Xbox One and started doing the whole, hey, we want to be a TV set-top box, we want to do this, we want to do this, they've been laying in the groundwork to get people to go out and see them as more of a platform and an ecosystem versus just a console company. And I think that this is an Xbox. That was their intention with that, and I that's what I took it as, and I think it worked very well for them. I
thought it made sense, but I know a lot of people did not like it.
So the premise of it being an ecosystem does require them to have things in the ecosystem, right? Mm-hmm. And the core of that ecosystem is their console store. And so when they're suddenly saying that anything's an Xbox, but it doesn't really play everything the Xbox did, that's where I have a problem with it. If everything could play the 70-80% of what the Xbox could, right? I'd be like, it's the greatest shit since sliced bread. Hell yeah. And that's where I fall. It's just because I don't think they've met that bar of their ecosystem feels like it's everywhere. It feels like you get tiny slivers, like the old cartoon where they're slicing the bread and you can see through the bread. It's so paper thin.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. But that's the thing, though. If you're logging into an Xbox account to play an Xbox game and you're buying stuff in an Xbox ecosystem, you're playing on an Xbox. Mm-hmm. So that's the core theory behind it.
I can kind of concur with that, but when you can only buy so much of the stuff, it feels disjointed and poorly implemented. I really feel that they are 2-3 years too early to use that branding. They'll get there. They are trying to get there.
So you're saying they should probably say this is sort of an Xbox? Is that better?
So let's take Xbox 360 and the original Xbox out of the equation for a second.
Right.
My quota for Xbox One and Xbox Series content would probably be close to 95%. Like that is the modern digital ecosystem that they have, every 99.99% of the Xbox One stuff carried over to the Series X, right? Mm-hmm. My expectation is that everything carries over to the next one too. And the same thing's true with PlayStation, by the way. 99.99% of PS4 carried over to PS5. My expectation is the PS6 is going to do the PS6, PS5, and PS4. That's just the nature of you have created a digital marketplace. Sorry, those are the expectations that are set for you.
So Nerds made a great point in the chat, and I wonder what's you guys' thoughts on this, because I don't see Sony or Nintendo held to this standard, right? Nintendo especially gets away with it, but hell, they'll resell you their games. Get away with it, right. But Nerds mentioned, he says he feels like the only reason that we have this high standard for back compat with Xbox is because they've been at the forefront of it. So what's your guys' thoughts on that?
They literally made it their brand. That was a huge thing. That's how they sold the Xbox Series at the beginning, was everything was auto enhanced, right? True. All your games that you brought with you, you're playing them better on Xbox than you can play them anywhere else, because they did the legwork to make it 60 FPS. Mm-hmm. They did the legwork to make it automatically 4K. They did the legwork to add HDR to it, right? Not the developers. It was Microsoft who, using their console, enhanced it for you. Microsoft has really made it part of their image, which is why the things clash. It's why people tangentially get upset.
I feel like the people who get upset about it are...
I'm people.
It might be literally only you. The percentage of people... Not only me. The percentage of people who even know what the fuck we're talking about is less than 1% of people who play video games. Mm-hmm. So I really don't think it matters at all.
And that's the other thing I was going to say with this is an Xbox messaging. It wasn't meant for the hardcore fan base.
Yeah.
You got to
So,
think casual
I disagree.
consumers make
It-
up
it-
majority.
No, I
It
definitely
definitely
disagree.
was not for
My friends all thought that Xbox was releasing a handheld thing that they could play their old Xbox games on, and I had to tell them no.
Well, they are. They're working on
Definitely.
it. Like that
True.
process is coming.
But they thought, because like my one friend was like, "How do I pre-order this thing? That sounds awesome." And I had to tell him it's just a Windows PC that plays everything your current
But that
PC or
wasn't the
desk
messaging for ROG. The messaging for this is an Xbox was more so that if you're a consumer and you want to play an Xbox game on Amazon Luna or on the Amazon Fire Stick, guess what? You're playing on an Xbox now. Or if you want to open up a mobile phone and jump onto cloud gaming, guess what? You're playing on an Xbox now.
I actually don't have a problem with the cloud gaming one. The cloud gaming one's much closer. I do have a little bit of a problem with them calling PCs Xboxes because they just don't play most stuff yet.
I mean, are you playing
Cloud has a
Xbox
larger
games on them?
library.
I think that's the one that makes the most sense though, because you're
Yeah.
playing it on their operating system.
It's
It's
and
literally
their PC
like,
app.
like you're playing on a Microsoft device. If they want to be like, oh, it's an Xbox now, then like literally
So-
all they have to do is push an update that's like, hey,
For
when
me,
you
it's-
turn on your PC instead of Windows, it says fucking Xbox, and you're
With the
you're
cloud,
like, what are you
bring
gonna
your
do
own
about it?
games. With the cloud, bring your own games. You're bringing so much of the crap that you own with you. With PC, you're really only bringing a handful of things with you, right? And that's where I have the problem with it, because if you are a lapsed Xbox player but you had a ton of digital purchases, even from like early on, they have been adding so many games to the purchased and playable on cloud. So many games recently, that it's kind of incredible. But you don't quite get the same thing on PC yet. It's just so disjointed. I truly think they were 1 or 2 years away from it being a home run success versus what does this mean?
I guess the messaging may be right, but like in general, we know that's what they're working toward. So
Right.
will it matter in any negative way once they finally nail that fully? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
No.
I don't know, man. Like it kind of feels like it's just a splitting hairs. Like it'd be like, oh well, the Steam Deck isn't a Steam device because some games aren't Steam certified. Like it's such a I don't know, it's such a
Right.
wild argument to me.
I hear
Yeah.
you.
Of like, I know that it is a Xbox like OS and that it runs Xbox games, not all of them, but like it's like it does all of your Xbox shit for the like can get you in the door of it.
Mhm.
But it's like,
I
but this
think
isn't the Penthouse Suite, so it ain't.
it's
like I don't know, man.
explicitly the amount, right? There are there's only like 1,000 Play Anywhere games versus Steam, where it's like 60-70% of Steam games work on the Steam Deck,
I see.
and that's like 60% of 50,000, right?
Yeah.
It's just that they're not quite at the level of support. They're not quite at the percentage of their store for where stuff kind of where if you were to play the same device, odds are you'd be able to play like the same games on your Xbox that you would be able to on your PC through the Xbox PC app. It's just
Yeah, and-
not quite at the right level of sameness.
So
And that's where the more like literal kind of this is an Xbox, but that's not what they were really going for, because the whole part of that whole marketing was actually for casual consumers, because they started it with the Amazon Fire Stick. That's when they started all this kind of marketing, and this is an Xbox and this stuff like that. So for the most part, most casual consumers don't have 1,000 games. Even I mean, probably even 100 games, maybe for maybe some do, some don't. But if you're buying more than 100 games, you're probably more into the hardcore consumer base than you are more of the casual. So they wanted to get the messaging out. Hey, you're playing on an Xbox right now. Oh, I'm playing on an Xbox. What does that entail? Oh, well, we have Game Pass to where you can start doing this. That was kind of the mentality of getting the casual consumer in to be like, oh, well, I'm already invested in this
Sure.
ecosystem because I'm playing on an Amazon Fire Stick. I'm an Xbox player. How can I get more invested into this ecosystem?
And that's where I
that's
agree.
the theory.
Until they pulled in the PS5, and they literally had the tweets out where it was like, this is an Xbox, when they started porting games there, and that doesn't have Game Pass. In fact, that has very little that carries over between them. You can play a handful of Xbox games that they published over there, but you do have to purchase them. You don't have Game Pass. That's where I feel like they just literally were kind of just throwing things at the wall to try and get people to look at the brand, and some of it just was not well received.
But if you are in the Xbox ecosystem, you can take your progress from Sea of Thieves into PlayStation. You
Sure.
can take your progress in Forza to PlayStation. So technically, you are playing on an Xbox because your progression from Xbox is coming with you.
You're
not
playing
like,
a game with cross save like Ubisoft does with freaking like Odyssey. Like that's not a good marketing. That's
but
not
you're
a
already
good
invested in. You're getting more invested into an ecosystem. By
you're getting
playing
less
Xbox
invested. You're
stuff.
buying outside of it, really.
But you're spending money in it, and that's all that matters. It's not about going
You're
outside
spending
of
money outside of it, and they're getting that's not.
70%. I mean, it's a pretty
You're
good
getting
chunk.
70%.
70% is a massive.
You're also
it did
growing
for Sony.
someone else's ecosystem that's shutting down your ecosystem.
I mean, I don't think
But I
that
don't
matters to us though.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think that
I wouldn't-
ecosystem's going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's such a wild way to market that's so counterintuitive to what normal people would expect.
I guess you could look at it that way, but at the same time, like, see that when I hear it that way, I think of their business. I don't care about their business. Like if you're saying like, hey, well, you're propping that other part up, so as long as I get to play the game, I couldn't care less. But I hear you.
I care until because if they kill like their actual marketplace,
Yeah.
my licenses don't go anywhere.
Sure, but I don't think they're
And that
I don't think they're in any
sucks.
danger of that happening. But
Yeah,
I
there's
do hear
absolutely
you.
no shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look
Well,
at
that was one of the big things at the time though, because like Satya Nadella is the hardware killer at Microsoft. He is truly the hardware killer at Microsoft. And so that's why there
He's
is
the
that
wild
level of fear
card
where
there.
it's like
Yeah.
if he determines that enough money's being made elsewhere, then they're just not going to invest back into stuff. And that was a fear at the time when this all started. That's less of a fear now. Like
Okay.
I'm not bringing that up as a fear now, but like that was at a big like when people were responding to this initially, that was a big that was before the AMD partnership was announced. That was before all that. And people were like, is Satya Nadella going to kill this hardware?
Right.
Like he's killed so many other things. And I think that some of that stigma is still there, despite it not being conversed about because it doesn't matter anymore, right?
Right.
That was a big initial thing to this too, was like, what is Microsoft actually doing?
I see.
Yeah, well, I mean, we already know hardware's probably going to go away eventually, especially with cloud gaming and AI taking over and stuff. I would say probably in the next 20 years.
Burst.
In about 20 years, I would say. And once we get more of I mean, come on, you got to look at what technological, has happened since then. I mean, look at people would have never thought when we had DVDs, Netflix would be a thing.
So
and now DVDs are going away.
Yeah.
True,
I mean,
but
you've
for
gotta
every example of that, I can also kind of do an inverse where it's like they told me this was going to happen and it didn't.
I mean, you
Like
gotta
they
look
told
at
me the Xbox One was gonna be was gonna integrate my cable box into it when they didn't realize that cable boxes were just gonna die. Like there's a lot of things that
mean,
they think are gonna happen. That
they
just
still
never
did
came
it
off
though.
as well.
They-
VR was
Yeah.
another one. Everyone was saying that VR is gonna be the future, and VR is like
oh god, no, it's
I
Not
never
game.
thought that.
right,
Yeah.
and that. VR being the future has been a thing since the Power Glove, right? That's been a thing that people have been trying to push, and so I
Shout
look
out
at
to
cloud
Captain
and I'm
Ian,
like,
by the way. Shout out to Captain Ian and the Game Masters. But yeah.
yeah,
Thinking
it's
of
just
Power
like
Glove.
cloud is this thing that, to me, has not grown at the rate that it should have at this point, anywhere,
well,
right?
it's still in its infancy stages, and this is why
Been in its
Xbox
infancy stages since like 2017.
I mean, you got to
it's
think.
almost a decade of it.
I mean, look at
Yeah.
how much data you're transferring compared. I mean, Netflix wasn't built in a day, kind of thing.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. But like
and-
I would have expected an actual jump in at least one of them if people truly were gonna take off on this. I don't see cloud for.
GeForce Now.
I don't see cloud replacing dedicated hardware. I don't think enough people are gonna jump on it.
I'd say about 20 years, because I mean, name one entertainment medium that hasn't went more digital than physical.
So I would argue there's a very big difference between going completely digital and getting rid of hardware entirely.
but it's happening. It's phasing out slowly but surely. You got
Sure.
Best Buy and Walmart's pulling out of DVDs and music CDs. Books are even more digital now. Even art is more digital than anything. Movies, TV shows. There's a landscape coming, and even when you look at some of the sales and stuff that have come in, and we look at these numbers, what was it? The last PlayStation financial or numbers that came out is that like 80% of people are buying games digitally than physically.
I'm gonna push back a little bit and say that we're gonna need a miracle in how cloud actually operates, though, for games, because there's a big difference between playing a game over the cloud and watching a movie over the cloud, or listening to music over the cloud.
Oh, 100%.
Input latency actually matters, and that is going to be a tough nut to crack due to literal laws of physics.
Yeah, I mean, can't move in light speed of light, right? But
this is also why they're investing in AI a lot. I think that's the ultimate goal. I think of.
Bro, AI can't even give you the right answer on a Google search. I ain't about to.
Yeah, actually, that's another thing. That AI bubble is about to burst. Like, Facebook just downsized their AI by, like, what was it, 50%?
Hey, Grok, help me play this game right.
Well, see, and that's the issue, is they're trying to make it a consumer product, and it's like, no, AI won't be a consumer product for a very, very long time.
I don't know if it ever will.
You could use it on the back end of stuff for development and things. That's where it 100%. Really shines, is in the back end.
One of the big things that I do at work is, like, we do wireless surveys, and we walk around buildings, and we use this AI. It's an AI tool. It's uses basically data from anyone who does one of these surveys to generate a heat map of, like, where you should put access points for the best coverage
experience.
and right, and it based on, like, types of walls and stuff like that, and it gets smarter and smarter and smarter as more people use the tool to do the heat maps. So 100%, I feel you with the on the back end stuff.
Yeah, it's not a consumer product, and that's where you get a lot of these greed from companies that are trying to make something that they can eventually sell to you and make it such. And it's like, no, that's not that. It won't work that way. It's not ready for that yet, and that's where the bubble will burst for the consumer side. Business side, though, it's growing. Nerds even said, according to MS, cloud continues to be the biggest growth area, but he can only take them at their word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see what their growth areas look like, right? It's the biggest, but how big is it?
It's also worth noting that a lot of this stuff is them sort of pricing themselves out of groups. So all of look at it in terms of, like, the movie theater, right? Everyone's like, oh, the movie theaters have died, everything has gone digital. Not the case at all. Movie theaters are still extremely profitable. They've just changed what their business model is. Like, instead of we're going to fit 500 people in one screen in a terrible seat, it's we're going to put them in a nice seat and we're going to have them buy food, and it's going to cost more. Like, that's what that has become. So I don't see local hardware probably ever going away,
right?
Because at that point, let's say it goes away. Then what are you playing it on? Your TV, just, like, directly through your computer? Well, your computer's local hardware, so I guess that would be fine. But you're going to stream it through your TV. So then what is there? You just put the hardware for an Xbox into the box of a TV, or are you just strictly streaming it to that? Like, it just doesn't. It just doesn't connect. You know what I mean?
You have to convince people that it's more convenient. Because the reason Netflix exploded was it was more convenient to press a button to play a movie on your TV, and for most people it was barely different. But there's a big difference when you're playing a game on cloud versus not playing a game on cloud with, like, input latency and stuff like that. That's the big hurdle, right? It feels worse to play a video game where you actually have to put inputs on your controller constantly to play than a movie does. And so that's the hurdle that they're gonna have to fight with cloud, right? And I have yet to see like, NVIDIA is the closest, but even still, man, it's so expensive to pay for their highest tier, and you have to pay for all your games and bring them with you. And at that point, why am I not just buying a computer to do it?
Yeah,
sure. But on top of that, you also have to keep in mind that them doing this, right? them going all digital, them doing all this, the only reason that they're doing this is because they can get away with so much more horseshit in a digital space than they can in a physical space, because in the digital space there are no fucking laws. Like there's basically no legal ramification for any amount of like digital rights, anything.
Right.
So as soon as those things start coming through, which they probably will in the next couple of years, honestly, I mean, we've already started to see the top layer of that, of like Steam has to start putting, hey, you don't actually own fucking anything. So as soon as like actual laws start coming through of like, hey, you're selling people snake oil, basically, I do think that digital marketplace is going to start becoming, not, you know, go away or anything, but it's going to start being a thing where like they're going to have to start giving us more on the digital front to justify the fact that we're giving them money for basically nothing. Like people are, the part of it that has always pissed me off about people who have gone completely digital is it's like you're giving up every single one of your rights of ownership for the only benefit being that you don't have to stand up and go to a store. Like you've gotten to a point where you are okay with a company just flipping a switch one day and being like, no, you don't own that anymore because you never did. Like the fact that so much, this is the thing that happens a lot in like TV and movies, is there are major movies and major television shows that have never gotten physical releases at all. And what that means is that when they disappear off their streaming services, which they do constantly, there is no way to get them. They are simply gone. They are lost media. And this is not just like, oh, they took the Willow show off of Disney Plus, but also it's like there was a Martin Scorsese movie that came out a couple years ago that never got a physical release and was removed off of Netflix, and now it is just gone. And it won like multiple Oscars, and now it's gone. Like there needs to be some amount of rights to ownership and ability to maintain these things in perpetuity. If you're going to sell somebody a product, you can't just take it away from them. So I will never understand the people who are like, yeah, I'll give them, especially with the prices constantly going up, yeah, I'll give you $100 to not own Grand Theft Auto for a day pass into Grand Theft Auto. Here's $100. Like, get fucked.
Well, physical's the same way. Physical, you're buying basically the license in gaming, because when you open up, when you start the game, you have to do a handshake. And if the server, if they say no, your account's banned, or no, you don't, whatever, that handshake's going to pull away. And now you can't play that game, even though you have the disc. If you don't have the account and your account's not in good standing or whatever it is, that disc's a paperweight now.
That's a big problem.
Okay,
with
but
Xbox
that's bullshit, because you can just take that disc and put it on a different account. You can just make another free account, put the disc in, you're good to go.
Theoretically, yes.
You may have to get a different piece of hardware, but you may have to, because you know if
they are doing
ban the
hardware
actual
bans. Yeah,
I mean,
Well, then that's a whole other issue. The fact of the matter is, like, because that's always something that people try to bring up too, is they're like, oh well, when you buy a physical game, it's not the full game, because then they add updates to it, and now that's the real game. And it's like, okay, so are you also pushing for them to continuously put out games that are unfinished so that they can finish it a year later after you've already paid them your $70? Like, well, that's another thing that you're okay with?
What they also
like, no, just put it on the fucking disc.
Yeah, no,
you got a point.
You just put the license. You literally are only putting the license on the disc.
No, games have gotten so big and it's so costly to manufacture. This is why I think
which is killing the industry.
Yeah, this is why I think physical will eventually go away, because it's such a money draw for video game video game platforms and developers to spend on.
The physical has nothing to do with the inflating costs of these games. The inflating cost of these games is because we've decided to put $14 billion into making sure that my fucking horse's balls shrink when the snow comes out. Like, we decided that instead of making a video game, every game now has to be an entirely realized, complete world where every bar you go into has 17 different arcade games that you completely play, and there's an entire dating sim and 400 other side mechanics that you're never going to touch built into this one game. That's why the cost of these things keeps going up. It's not because like, oh, I have to print it on a disc. Like, that's not, like, that's so minimal in comparison. Like, they even just pointed out, there was a thing that came out of Gamescom. They were like, oh well, the number one thing that's causing the cost of these games to go up is salaries. And everyone was like, yeah, but whose salaries? Because it's not
Right.
even probably the employees. It's like it's
Right.
this dickhead getting $4 billion as a bonus at the end of the year over at EA.
The
And you're like,
lawyers make more money at game
That's-
studios than
yeah,
developers.
you're like, whose salaries?
The lawyers for those studios make way more money, sadly, than actual game developers.
That's
Like,
crazy.
it's ridiculous. So many of these things are like, this is why the games industry is in trouble right now. Like, it's not going to go away. Don't get me wrong. Like, all these video games are still coming out, and they're great games, and it's awesome. But like, we're starting to see all these unions come in because like layoffs are going fucking insane, and like they have to keep doing all this stuff because they can't figure out how to make the prices come down because they've convinced themselves incorrectly of like, oh well, this is the future. And then you look at the people who are buying and playing the games, and they're like, I don't give a shit about that. I just want another game. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And we're
they're
seeing
on
the
this
fallout.
constant race for a thing that nobody wants instead
that's
of
the
just
thing, is the
making up a
fallout.
product that's worth having.
This happened a long time ago when games, they used to be 3 to 4 years to make. Now, you're looking at 7-8 year development cycles. So it's hard to pivot once you already hit that 5th, 6th year and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this isn't a thing anymore, or or we've already spent this many millions of dollars for this. They can't just retract, or backtrack on that in a sense. And that's where I think a lot of it is yeah, we spent way too much time back when like 7-8 years ago when it was like immersion, everything, Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of thing. Everybody tried to, chase that trend, I think, with development. And now they're hitting the 6th, 7th year now of development. And they're like, oh, dang, okay, yeah, we've spent a lot of money on stuff. And it's just the fallout, I think, of how games are developed. It's a gamble. It's a massive gamble. And now we're seeing that a lot of those gambles aren't paying off anymore because this isn't something you could have predicted 7-8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, and that's why you're starting
But
to
I
see
think-
some shifts here nowadays when it comes to development. I point to Mafia, the old country, and how what's their name, Hangar 13, how they handled that, for instance. It's a much shorter game, 10 to 12 hour campaign, right? Still beautiful looking, but it's limited. You know what I mean? So I wonder if more game development is going to go back toward that to bring down costs.
It has to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that we keep seeing over and over again right now is all of these massive studios are chasing fucking Puff the Magic Dragon that they'll never be able to catch up to. And then they lay off 6 million people. And then those 6 million people go and start, a bunch of smaller studios that go out and make, Expedition 33. And then that blows up and is the biggest thing in the world because it's a much more focused game that understands what it wants to be and is just that one thing. And it works. And that's why it's good. Or 3 people in Australia make fucking Hollow Knight, and then everyone's clamoring for the next Hollow Knight for a decade because it was so good, because it knew exactly what it was and it didn't screw around trying to be the next big
Everything.
open world everything. Like
Yeah.
all of these studios are just failing at doing a thing that nobody asked them to do. Like I saw a post the other day, and it's the most real thing in the world, where it's like all I'm asking for is smaller game. What was it? Smaller games
Smaller
made
games that
cost
less.
made by
It's
people
usually
who are paid more or something.
yeah.
Let's
It
see if I can
usually
find it.
comes with a caption of like Sonic laying on his back smiling. Is the image? I'll see if I can find the meme.
It says, yeah, I want shorter games with worse graphics made by people who are paid more to work less, and I'm not kidding. Like,
Yeah.
that's all people want. They don't, like, look, every so often there's going to be a Grand Theft Auto 6 that comes out. But the problem with Grand Theft Auto 6 is that it took a decade plus to make, and it has to sell 15 billion copies to make its money back. And it probably will because it's Grand Theft Auto. But all of the other people who are trying to chase the coattails of Grand Theft Auto are never going to do that. And frankly,
Yep.
if this Grand Theft Auto comes out and somehow fails to do that, or is frankly just not good, and the like online thing doesn't stick around, people don't constantly buy shark cards, not only will Grand Theft Auto blow up, probably 2K will go under. Like that, they're putting
Take-Two.
every single
So would
egg.
take 2K with them.
Good.
Sorry, Take-Two. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the same company, but yeah.
Yeah, they're all.
But like, they have put so many eggs in this one basket, and it's like, look, I get it, it's a good basket, but like, what else are we doing? Like, you can't put that much money in one horse and hope that it doesn't end up at the fucking glue factory. It's insane to me. It's insane to me because we got.
I mean, to be fair, 2K is almost guaranteed, with Grand Theft Auto for that to do just fine. Take Two,
sure. Yeah, I think Grand Theft Auto will do great, but the fact of the matter is, like, they are chasing this thing where we used to get a Grand Theft Auto every couple of years. We had 4 in the PS2 generation. I don't think anyone was mad that you couldn't, go into a bar and play a fully realized darts game that had a complete tournament bracket built into it, and then you could go online and do it. Like, no one was complaining about that then. And I don't if you stripped it down at this point, you'd have to call it something other than Grand Theft Auto, because I think at this point, the people who are looking for that and are apparently willing to pay $100 to get access to this crime-themed theme park, like, they do want that now. Grand Theft Auto has built their own ever-growing, unsinkable battleship that they at some point will just not be able. Like, Grand Theft Auto 6 has taken this long to make. Grand Theft Auto 7 is going to take 150% as long to make. We're genuinely, Grand Theft Auto 8 may not come out in my lifetime. That's what we're looking at if they continue on this exact same trend. Like, that's insane. That's insane. And no one's like asking them to do it. If they put out a game that was the same in scope as 5, but just looked maybe a little prettier and had a better story or whatever, I don't think people would be mad about it. People loved 5.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot, because not really shot themselves in the foot, because every game that's came out has been bigger, better. Like, they've always kind of improved, and they've set that standard to where the next game is going to be this immersive. They've kind of, I guess, they kind of did shoot themselves in the foot in that regard. But that's what they're known for, is the next big massive thing. But like I said, people don't realize that, these take 10, 15 years if you want some of that crazy immersion stuff. And again, this is why game developers are looking at AI, because people want to do that Grand Theft Auto style, massive updates and immersion and all of that stuff. But it's well, we don't have the budget for that. Let's hire some free labor like AI kind of thing.
Sure, but the AI is not going to be able to get it done, is what I'm saying. And so what's going to happen is this top layer, the people shooting after this Grand Theft Auto train of we're going to make $100 video game that will take you your entire life to play, that is the bubble. That's what's going to pop. That needs to, and frankly, it needs to go away. That is what is killing the games industry, is this constant chase for everything has to be bigger and cost more and have more people working on it and then have bigger layoffs. We have everything's got to be, we're going to have the biggest layoffs and the worst games, and it's going to cost $5 billion. That needs to go away. 100%. We cannot keep that. Yep. And throwing AI at it so that we can continue to push that boulder further up the hill before it rolls back down on us, Sisyphus style, is not going to help the problem. It's not. All it's going to do is cost us more jobs before the boulder comes down and crushes everybody else below it.
Unironically, what is it? RGG Studio, Sega, being able to put out a 1 to 2 Yakuza games a year because they don't reinvent the wheel. And they just make a new Yakuza game using slightly upgraded assets.
Yeah.
But mostly reusing the same assets, and they can afford to make 8 trillion mini games in it because
they do have a ton of mini games,
and no one cares because it's fun.
Yeah. Well, because half of those games, a lot of the games that they put in there is just we're gonna put in Space Harriers, and it's just okay, well, you just put
you literally just loaded your ISO from your old game.
Outrun, but that, and that's interesting. I guess the furthest deviation they've had with that series would be the pirate. What was it? The pirate Yakuza. That was probably the furthest deviation. I guess
it's either that, or, well, I don't know. There was a zombie one that came out in the PS3 generation that was honestly pretty bad.
Yeah.
There was Ishin. That one might technically be more different because it's back in time. But there's
slightly. Yeah. I played a bit of Ishin on the demo. I got to get that, by the way. Speaking of Ishin, listen. So in the
In the interest of time.
interest of
time, yeah. let's move ahead to the main topics because we're probably we're close to it's already 8:40 here for us.
It wasn't me this time.
No, this is not a negative. This is a positive. It flowed through easily for us. And so I let you guys cook. I just sat back and enjoyed it like the audience here.
Understandable.
So we got Forza Horizon 6. We did speak on this briefly last episode, but I got you guys here. And I guess I'll start with you, Cork. With Forza Horizon 6, the whole rumor is that it will not only be at the Tokyo Game Show, but that the setting would be Japan, which is fitting for it to do. By the way, I have to say, it's pretty cool that, and I said this last show, Microsoft has, or Xbox has, so many IP, so much IP that they could stand to not show one of their most premier games at the summer showcase and be like, oh, we'll save that for this over here. That's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm thinking back to years before where they had nothing to show. And
I'd argue it's not that they didn't show it this summer. They usually don't show Forza Horizon until months before it comes out, like the summer before it comes out. So we're getting this a full year early.
Oh, that's true, unless it's dropping this year, which I doubt. But yeah,
it's spring.
I do maybe.
No,
I think that the reason for this is I think pretty clearly they're trying to really push the Tokyo Game Show audience. We have it's going to take place in Japan. We want to market it in Japan. I don't know necessarily that this is going to be a thing that drives the Japanese audience to buy an Xbox, but now it's going to be on all of these devices that may or may not be Xboxes, depending on who you ask. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a situation where this might be, for a lot of people in Japan who don't buy Xboxes, this might be one of the first Forza games that they can buy day of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If they can get it on their PlayStation, if they can get it, probably not on your Switch 2. I don't know if it's going to run well on a Switch 2. That thing's, it's new, but it's old. So we'll see. But I think that's why they've made this choice, is they're pushing it into that marketplace. We've been talking for years about Microsoft and Xbox wanting to have more of a foothold in Japan, and I genuinely think this isn't going to be a thing that oh my god, now it's the biggest brand and whatever. But I do think that this is something that could be really successful over there. Japan, despite having a remarkably small number of people who actually have driver's license, has a really big car culture.
Yeah, they do. It's actually they really do. It's a car culture kind of country. It will be very. This is something, like I said when we talked about it last time, it's something we all know fans of the series have been clamoring for. When are you going to Japan? When are you going to Japan?
Yeah.
So this has been much demanded and asked for. But Cork, I'll ask you. With the rumors of it, and seems like much more less rumor than it is just. We're waiting for actual confirmation at this point, with Nate the Hate saying it and Windows Central saying they had documentation.
Somebody leaked it on a website or something. They put it up early, right? I think, or something like that.
So there was 2 different leaks. There is an internal document going around that literally shows documentation on the game. A very, very disgruntled Microsoft employee.
Oh wow.
Tom Henderson has seen the document. Jazz has seen the document. And Nate has seen the document.
Okay.
And from what I understand, they had their sources within Microsoft verify that it's real. The other leak was an Instagram thing from an external car import company that was so excited that they were doing a car with a from Japan for the next Forza Horizon. And the only reason you'd be doing some obscure, minor, local Japanese car company, I'm talking real minor, is if it's going to be set there. The same thing. They've done the same thing with all their regional ones.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the first thing that happened. Then the document happened a couple days later. The document was the reason the document story was actually broken. That basically verified the document story. Indirectly, because that happened. We have this document. I guess I should actually investigate to see if this document's real and not just some like fan-made fake.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Umbra, I didn't even let you ask your
No, you're good.
or ask your question.
I was gonna say, like, with the situation with it being set in Japan, for you, what, like, because we know there's like in any of these games we play, we know there's a bunch of like iconic areas in Japan that would look cool in the backdrop, or maybe we can drive through. I mean, we got the Mount Fuji's and such, right? We got obviously all the temples and things like that that we can have in the background, which I'm sure we will see. But like for you, if you had to kind of have a wish list of elements and things you would like them to incorporate for Forza Horizon 6 in Japan, what would be like maybe one of the things or a few of the things you would love to see them implement to kind of push the series forward? Because every time we travel to a new location, be it Australia, be it Mexico, whatever, you know, we get some of the locales, but you don't necessarily get new gameplay elements. What's something that you feel like they could do to push it forward with it also being set in Japan?
I think really lean into like Crusader said, they have like a pretty big, or I was it you that said that they have a pretty big car culture there?
That was
Umbra.
Yeah, all of us, but it was Danny that brought it up first.
Oh,
it
Danny,
wasn't
sorry.
me. I
Yeah. Danny, yeah, that I mean, pretty much, I would think that they would go more simulation based, not Forza, you know, the simulation based game, you know,
Right.
where they have the motorsport. That's all sim. This one's supposed to be a little bit more arcadey, more fun.
Right.
But I think if they are going to do Japan, dive in a little bit more into the tech aspect of it. You know, get a little more simulation with it.
I like that thought. And you know why I like that? Because one of my speculations is, and we've all seen it with, unfortunately, what happened with Turn 10, and we know that some of them have been absorbed, or at least the rumor is that many of them are being absorbed into Playground. And one of my thoughts, my theories, my tinfoil hats, if you will, was that maybe they could kind of do some type of fusion where you get sim elements added to Forza Horizon for certain things, and that could fit right into what you're talking about. Maybe like certain race types would have more sim elements, and then other race types would be more arcadey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with Forza Horizon, I really liked. It's a pro and con with that. So if you're going to do that, because I think a lot of the fun with Forza Horizon was you never really got taken out of the action for too long. You were always driving, and when you hit something, you were always jumping into something pretty relatively quickly. So I don't know if maybe for Japan they may switch it up a little bit to where, you know, you are going to have a little bit of that slowdown, but I think that fast pace and being able to jump in and out of races and do this really cool stuff really benefited the last Horizon. So I mean, we'll see, but I think if they're going to do Japan, and especially if they're doing little minor things with car companies and stuff, I think they'll probably go a little bit more simulation based. Just to really like draw in that, you know, that Japanese user that loves cars, and now, I can drive around this area, because they did such a beautiful job with, I think it was London, right? The last one.
Mexico.
And what was it?
Was the last one. Mexico was the last one.
Oh, that's right. Mexico was the last one.
London was the one before
London
that,
before that. Yeah. London was the one before that. I forgot about the Mexico one. Yeah. So, I mean, they did such a beautiful job with the London one. And I mean, Japan's gorgeous. I went in February of this year. I was there for 2 weeks, and absolutely gorgeous company, or a gorgeous country. And if they can capture that, oh man, it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe Undra stepped away.
I was
No,
muted.
you-
I'm sorry. I was I muted myself if I'm talking, and I'm like, wait a minute. Sorry about that. No, I agree. I think that's great thoughts. One of the things I've always thought is like, much like GTA, where you're traveling here to Vice City, you're traveling to what do they call New York in GTA? Liberty City. Is I would love, and I know it's a lot to ask, and it kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Danny, in the last subject on how you got to have so much of this and that and this into the game that's making it so big. But I still would love an element of it where we could travel from location to location. Like imagine they gave us like, oh, you can travel to Mexico and then you can travel to Japan in this game, right? I know that would be a lot to ask, but maybe they can add it in like content drops going forward, and have it where you could travel through all the locales that you've been in past games and such. I think that'll be pretty cool. To you, Crusader, if with the case of it being in Japan, and I guess I'll kind of like throw a kind of fantasy question. We got the futuristic cities as possibility. We've all seen Japan in multiple different media, on where they got this kind of dystopian setting, or like from Ghost in the Shell, or a futuristic settings and such, like a cyberpunkish elements and different anime. What for you? If you we got the beautiful countryside, of course, of like Hokkaido and things like that could be shown. What for you would be like the craziest racing ideas that you would add to Forza Horizon 6, and I guess to differentiate it from previous games?
I don't really play the Forza games.
Great answer.
I kind of played 5 a bit. I enjoyed the like arcadey nature of it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know what to add to it. It's not everyone can love every genre, and I don't really care for racing games or sport games. That's just me, right? I will say Forza is the closest that people have ever gotten me to enjoy a racing game because of the barn finds and stuff like that, like the collectible hunting and things like that. I find to be kind of fun. I don't know that I'll play it. If I do play it, it's me playing it in co-op because my one friend who adores Forza has convinced me to play it with him.
That's good.
So
That's good.
I am a really bad person to ask on Forza specifically. I can just speak on I know how it leaked and I know the authenticity of stuff.
We would go to you for the more intricacies behind the scenes. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, like I could tell you that it almost certainly is gonna be at Tokyo Game Show. And I can tell you that you should expect the first half of 2026.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Hey, MJ, he says, MJ Dark says, we do not negotiate with terrorists. Daniel J. Make sure you hit number.
What have I done?
Easy
I don't know.
Nintendo slander. We already slandered Nintendo at the start of the show, MJ.
Yeah, we did.
We did them dirty. You should have been here. You'd have been upset.
Listen, man, they put Pokemon on my fucking Xbox, and I'll play all of it.
There you go.
I'll 100% that game 18 times over.
Gotta catch them all.
There's a
God
But we
damn.
already have a
quiz.
better Pokemon Power World, so why would we need that?
Golly.
Right. Well, Nintendo's trying to take them
Dude.
out of the game now, so we might
You
not.
know,
even-
cassette beasts, like unironically, cassette beasts. If you like Pokemon games, play cassette beasts.
Oh yeah. Shout out to
Yeah.
Morty. He always tells me about that one.
it's
I was gonna say
pretty
that one's a
good.
little
It's
jab just at MJ for the Power World.
Cassette piece is a little overcomplicated for me, to be honest with you. It kind of takes the fun out of it.
But yeah, as for the drive and stuff, I don't know. It would be really cool to go between like the downtown Tokyo into the beautiful like Japanese countryside. Like that does sound really pretty and nice. It's not gonna be.
But is it like racing games has never really been your big thing in general?
They the only racing game I have ever truly enjoyed, and Danny's gonna laugh when he hears it,
Oh
is
my God.
Looney Tunes Space Race.
You absolute son of a bitch.
It was a
Genuinely?
PS2 and Dreamcast game.
I thought you were gonna say one of the PS2 Simpsons games. I'll be honest with you.
No,
That's where I thought you were
okay,
going.
the not Hit and Run, but the other one.
Wait a minute. What
I don't know
about
what the other one was called?
what about like
I enjoyed
Mario
it.
Kart? Did you ever like Mario Kart games?
I actually played Mario Kart for the first time on my friend's Switch 2. Like,
Whatever.
yeah, I've never played Mario
Wow.
Kart. I was not a big Nintendo. I own Nintendo systems to play 2 things: Metroid and Pokemon.
Oh wow. To keep it
and
very simple.
There was
I
a
see.
couple weird GBA games that I liked, like some of the very early Yu-Gi-Oh games, like the Sacred Cards, which is this weird like Yu-Gi-Oh JRPG game that is like impossible to describe. But I truly was like outside of Pokemon and Metroid a bit. I'm not a big Nintendo person.
You've activated my trap card.
My MJ trap card.
Right.
That game had like typing, like type abilities and stuff, or like type advantage and stuff like that. It was before the Yu-Gi-Oh card game had rules, but the manga existed.
Yeah.
And they made this like made up video game to go along with it, and like it doesn't follow the rules of the card game at all.
Yeah, look, Soiltech said, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah, no, I'm a psychopath. That's why they brought me on here.
Yeah, exactly. You got to mix it up, Soiltech. We got to mix it up. He's messing with.
You want me to talk about like FPSs? I'm your guy. I'll be here all day. You want me to talk about like various strange RPG games? I'll be here all day.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll go to you last on this one, Danny, and then we'll move to the last topic, and we don't have to take too much time on it on the last one. But for you, Danny, with it being set in Japan, that's the strong rumor, obviously, pretty much is fact from documentation. Is there any better location you can think of aside from Japan that you would like them to add? And like, if you did, what elements of Japan to you have to be there? So it's a two-part question for you. If it's with it being set in Japan, what has to be there, and what would you want? Like, for instance, we have to see, like, it's no longer there in real life, obviously, but like, we have to see the Sega building inside of the main square, like we would in Yakuza games, right? But I'm just throwing it out there for an instance. This would be much better if I could showcase the locales on the screen. Like, look at this. This will be great in Japan. Yeah. But yeah,
it'd be curious to know like how much of Japan is going to be there. You would assume that it's going to focus probably in on the like Tokyo area, probably Mount Fuji. Like those are the two ones that I think
I would imagine.
Like, absolutely, the cover is going to be some sports car racing past Tokyo Tower. Like that's and somehow Mount Fuji will be in the background, even though that's not geographically how that works. But probably that'll be what it looks like. And those are two of probably the more iconic places that you would want to go. There's this one really famous I think specifically people like to bike it, but it would be a good racetrack maybe. It's called the
Shibuya.
No, it's like I'll look it up. It's the something Kaido. It's like a bike path that goes between 6 islands down south. People, it's like extremely scenic. People love it. It's like one of the bigger things that people go to Japan for, other than anime titties.
The Gunner Islands.
It's called the Shimanami Kaido. It's a really famous, mostly biking path, but you can drive it as well. That's incredibly scenic, and it shows probably part of Japan that maybe a lot of people wouldn't necessarily like immediately think of, which is the oceanfront part of it. I think most people, when they think of Japan, they think of like samurai and anime and
pretty
Tokyo,
much,
and maybe not so much like the beach, but they obviously it's an island
and vending machines with panties, right?
And vending machines with panties. Yeah, hopefully we can crash into a couple of those. I hope that there's a mini game where you crash into you drive a small truck and you crash into high school aged boys and send them into fantasy worlds. I think that's I think that's maybe something that would really appeal to specifically my interests if we can get that in there. Just isekai some bitch. Man, I don't know. I think really realistically all the game needs to be is Forza Horizon, but in Japan, and I'm sure it'll do very well. I don't know if there's anything that I would like especially need them to do. I would maybe like some of the more arcadey things. Like I remember there used to be ones where it was like you would drive and you had to like pop all these balloons in a certain amount of time. Like little mini games like that might be fun, And I think Japan, like the Japanese audience, might respond to that louder if it's like a side thing. Because I know you're saying like, bring over the motorsport side of it. That's more simulation, but I don't see any reason why it can't be both. I mean, if we're gonna basically condense it into one game instead of splitting the franchise, like just stick the two together.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, and a lot of the elements that can definitely be added. Japan is a beautiful country. Like there's lots of elements they can embellish, right? Like the old cherry blossoms, and I can imagine driving through areas full of that. They can give like they always tend to give us these Hot Wheel tracks. Imagine some type of futuristic setting of that, or anime based one, right? Maybe they can work out a deal with like some
you
stuff.
go through you go through Shibuya during the Shibuya arc in JJK.
You see what I mean?
Hey, oh,
there you go. Yeah, maybe I'll see some One Piece pop up or some Dragon Ball Z. Like there's so many ways they can go with it, I guess, depending on what they want to spin on it. Why is Green melting down? He's like, no.
He really hates JJK.
It would be
Right.
it would be cool if there was I play Magic the Gathering. I am that guy. I love Magic the Gathering. And there's a Magic the Gathering plane.
I couldn't be less shocked in my like.
There's a Magic the Gathering plane that's based on Japan called Kamigawa. And the newest version of like the set that took place there was like in Cyberpunk, the Cyberpunk Tokyo set, like setting, and like a like really futuristic Cyberpunk Japan like DLC add-on would be kind of cool. Like that style of setting would be kind of really cool.
I think Danny's has a point too. Like, I think it's actually a pretty, because like Japan can be a serious country, but it's not in like certain areas. Like, it's a very fun-loving country. So like, what if like if you hit a boost, it changed the filter of the screen to like anime? So
that
now,
would be
like,
funny. That would
right?
be really
like,
funny.
Oh, that'd be
cool. Yeah, that's something that would fit with the Japan theme and stuff like that. I can see it. I think it's gonna be I think this is probably gonna be one of the best ones, just because of what they can do with how fun the culture is itself in the country. Is gonna be awesome.
I got one based on that. I got something based on that. And Danny was talking about mini games. You're talking about wacky stuff. You know how they have the wacky TV like contestant TV shows.
He's not going to steal mine. He's going a completely different direction.
They have the wacky game shows,
like Silent Library and MXC and
and whatchamacallit does the Saints Row does a parody of it called Professor Genki's right? Something like that with racing, where random crap is happening while you're trying to race, could be hilarious.
Yeah, I like all these ideas and thoughts. Yeah, I mean, you know what? One thing I noticed that they never really had in Forza games was Nitro, right? You play like like imagine playing the Need for Speeds and the Midnight Clubs.
Yeah,
imagine them adding that. In Japan's car culture is they like more tuners, right? So they like the GTRs and such, and the Subarus. Yeah, so imagine them kind of doing that and added that element, right? And of course they love to drift. So the whole drifting scene would be something special to add for them. I think it's a lot of different ways they can go with this if they get really, really creative, but it would have to deviate from their standard fare. But I think it's ripe for that personally. Let's move to our final topic and one of the main topic titles of this show tonight. And tonight was, of course, about Forza, but it's also about the end of console wars, gentlemen. We have now.
We the people have won.
We the people.
Surely.
We the gamers. We have won. It is over. Helldivers 2 and Gears of War Reloaded. Does this signal the end of the console wars, fellas? I mean, we got more games coming over from Xbox to PlayStation. We already know, and apparently there's some information in Gears as far as their trophy hints, platinum trophy hints at more PS5 games coming, which we already knew. Like, we know that all the Xbox games are more or less going to come over at some point. But and of course, there's rumors now of Starfield going over eventually. They're working on some new updates for that.
Yeah, those rumors have existed for a year.
Exactly. But this, of course, the bigger part is PlayStation opening up to putting more of their games. So obviously, we've heard about Returnal coming over next, things like that. But is this the end of console wars, fellas? Danny, I'll start with you, brother. Is this the end? Are we evolving as fans?
Okay, you've asked two different questions. I mean, are we
I suspect he doesn't think we evolved yet, but yeah, go ahead.
are we evolving? As in, like you, me, like the people, like us? Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that we've been seeing the writing on the wall. Like the console war has been dead for a long time in reality. In terms of like, oh hey, what was it? Kim Kardashian's going to take a Pepsi to the picket line or whatever the hell that commercial. Like, no, that's never like. There's always going to be dipshits online who are going to be like, PlayStation better than Xbox, even when like literally everything is everywhere. But like, it'll just change to fit whatever it needs to. Like, even if every single game everywhere launched on every platform at the exact same time and was the exact same quality on every single platform, they would still find ways to complain about it. So no, that's never going to go away to some extent. But in terms of like the actual reality of it, hell yeah, dude, that shit's been dead for a minute, and I'm here for it, honestly. I think that it, I've talked about this to death, frankly, on this show and others, of just like the best version of reality for consumers is exactly that, is where video games are not bound to a single ecosystem
platform
or device or anything like that.
Yeah,
giving consumers more options of where to buy their things only increases competition. It increases, like, now you have to compete separately in terms of software and hardware, and so like both of these things have to be able to stand on their own. That's very important for competition. Like, this is a very good thing for the future of the games industry. There's a lot of negative things happening at the same time, like millions of layoffs and all of the studio closures and all the bad stuff that's happening up here at the top. But over here in the world of where video games are going, the consumers, right? Okay, so right now consumers are winning, but the industry is not. If that makes sense. If you're a developer, I'm sorry, but if you're a consumer right now, it's a good time. It's a good time for consumers in the video game space. We're getting a lot of games. We're getting them where we want them. The prices are going up, which sucks ass, but every price is going up everywhere. Arizona Sweet Tea's changing their price for the first time in history, and that's a sign of the apocalypse as far as I'm concerned.
So they're finally dropping the $1 or whatever price. They're moving up.
They have to because aluminum prices in America are like twice as much or some shit now. So
damn. This is a sign of the times, fellas. It's over with.
That's what I'm saying. When they come for the Costco hot dogs, I'll be on the front line.
And when they came for Arizona, first they came for Arizona, then they came for the Costco hot dogs. And then they came for Home Depot hot dogs, and no one was left to defend it. But yeah,
boy. But yeah, this is a great thing. I forget who we were talking to on the. I think honestly it might have been Crusader a couple weeks back. But we were talking about, and that guy sucks and I hate him and he smells bad. But we were talking about how, like, oh, do we think this is going to continue and we're going to get more PlayStation games over on Xbox and vice versa?
I need to apologize to you. You were right.
And it's like we're for sure getting like those, hey man, those walls are coming down and I couldn't be happier.
Yep.
Like Jericho, break the walls down.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, man, break the walls down.
Yeah, I said that I would outright say if you were right when you were right. I didn't think you'd be, but I also wouldn't have been shocked. And Danny was right. To what extent they're bringing everything over, who knows? But they are directly bringing stuff over, which was something I did not expect. I expected them to just be like, we'll wait 2 years and we'll just do it through Steam. No, they straight up. They announced Helldivers like 2 weeks after I said that on the show.
Sure did.
100%. Danny was right.
Oh my god, I'm gonna live in this moment for a minute.
Danny was right.
Hashtag Danny was right.
We'll see how much they truly are gonna bring over.
Yeah.
It's got to be more than what they have announced is already coming, which is Helldivers, basically ongoing Destiny 2,
right? Marathon,
MLB, and Marathon, right? It's got to be more than those four if they're hiring an executive to manage multi-platform stuff. I guess they're doing some stuff on Nintendo with like weird things that they're having Bandai Namco remaster, but like there has to be more to it. And ever since then, I've been saying it's probably going to be things that Nixxes has touched, at least to start. Because Nixxes is the one doing the Helldiver port.
Yeah, they are. Now, did you see? Did you all see? By the way, Insomniac had made a curious tweet.
Yeah.
They make curious tweets like all day,
They love
every
doing
day, and
that
they make me
shit.
so mad because half of them don't mean anything, and the other half
That's
are like,
true.
"We were trying to tell you this, and no one understood."
Right. I'll throw out this, and this is to you, Cork, but it's also to everybody because I think this would be a good discussion to wrap us up. We know about exclusivity, and our argument has always been, well, exclusivity matters, and I do believe that just based off the traditional model we've always had. And the argument has always been exclusivity is great because of a few reasons. One of them being that it pushes competition, right? You get better games that we benefit from because of that. That developers can optimize better for specific hardware, which can lead to better, innovation and I guess performance, things of that nature. For all of you, and I'll start with you, Cork, and everybody. You can jump in after. Is this a good thing or a bad thing that we have less? I guess we'll have less walled gardens, and exclusivity is kind of going to the wayside going forward. Is this a good thing or a bad thing in your view? And what is? I guess I'll throw a second one. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? What are the potential pitfalls, and what are the potential successes that we can benefit from it as gamers?
So this is the best thing to happen for both gamers and developers. It really is. Exclusive. Okay, so I'll phrase it like this: exclusives don't matter, but they're important. And I think that's where people kind of get the two confused, or what it is. Because I've gotten into it with Riskit before about this. And he's a great guy, but I think exclusives don't matter, but they are important. And I think that's where the disconnect happens with a lot of conversation when it talks about exclusives.
Can I make one slight adjustment to that? Exclusives only matter if multiple companies have them. When they don't matter as much. In fact, they matter very little.
And that's where
when
it's
they aren't
important.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's the disconnect that a lot of people have, is that people think that that's the metric, and it's like that's never. Exclusives are have never been the revenue driver you think they are. Hardware has never been the revenue driver you think it is. All of those have been merely ways to get people into your ecosystem, but it's never been sustained to where it keeps them in that ecosystem. If you ever looked at like a Sony game, like a single player that releases, boom, to the moon. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, bam, down. It crashes hard. And that's never been the moneymaker. And Xbox is pretty much, I mean, I think this was Fuzzy that said it, has pretty much been like Michael Myers. It's like the Jason of horror movies where they've died so many times and came back to life. And it's like, you want to know why? It's because they've never doubled down on exclusives. They've always been the third party, which is where the moneymakers are. They've always been the live service company, which is where the money is. And it's never been about hardware exclusives. And developers don't care. They don't give a shit. I can tell you this 100%. They spend 24 hours a day sometimes towards the last 3 months, 4 months of a game development cycle in crunch. And they miss family. Like, I've missed family birthday parties. I've missed days with friends. Some of these friends aren't even around anymore, and I regret it horribly that I spent so much time in a studio developing a game and never spent time with them. They don't care. They spent so much blood, sweat, and tears into this game. They want everybody to play it. I've used this analogy before. This is their baby. They're making a baby. Nobody wants to, they want to show this off to everybody. Look at this baby. Play, hold the baby. Play, here's this baby that I've made. It's so important to me. They don't want to, they want everybody to truly enjoy what they've created. And it's not about console wars. It's not about, you can't play it. That's all done at the executive level. That's not from actual developers. Developers want everybody to play their stuff. So this is such a great thing. And this is why we're seeing the industry kind of crash out a little bit, is because there's been so much, money hatting from Sony. Look at Square Enix. They almost bankrupt themselves because they decided to eliminate an entire consumer base.
Yep, so silly.
that's not feasible anymore, especially when we're talking about games that are, going into, 7, 8 figure, 9 figure style, development costs. It's not feasible anymore. You have to break those walls down. And this is the best thing to happen to the industry and for consumers, because at the end of the day, we win. We get to play the games where we want to play the games. And it's not my rumor to drop, so I won't say much more, but there will be some information coming out. And I guarantee you a lot of people are going to, with regards to PlayStation and Xbox, a lot of people are going to be happy. Xbox people will be happy. Now, it's not I just heard about it before I jumped on the show.
Don't you worry. We're going to press you right after the show to find out this information. Don't you worry.
Yeah, it's not my rumor to spread or drop. But yeah, there's more that's coming. And like I said, you don't pay somebody $300,000 a year at an executive level to just not bring over more games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw, like, what is his? I think his name is Detective Seeds or something, was like trying to defend it, like, that this was an old previous job, and it's like, dude, it doesn't matter. They're paying someone $300,000 at an executive level to bring more games. They specifically say the platform Xbox.
Yeah,
this isn't the end. It's not the end, guys, and I can't wait for the crash out. Honestly, I really cannot. I mean,
can't wait for the crash out.
Dude, the 18 veins on Puerto Rico's forehead, because it's so big, it's gonna go. It's gonna blow up.
Because I only had a problem when Microsoft started porting stuff, and I'm on the record saying this. I only really had a problem because they were doing it so quickly. And they were the only one of the major 3 parties that were doing it at anywhere close to the same rate, right? Like, no one. They had Bungie, and there's like the MLB contract and some weirdness at PlayStation, but they weren't really putting stuff on Xbox or on Nintendo at a real rate. Nintendo isn't doing crap to anyone anywhere, and so like I was just like, if this was reciprocal, I would be perfectly fine with it.
Yeah. Can't be one-sided.
I get to play my beloved Ratchet and Clank on Xbox. And if that means someone can play my beloved Halo on PlayStation, I don't really give a damn. In fact, it's probably better for all of us. Literally everyone. They're making more money on the software. I get to play the stuff where I want. I get to earn achievements in it. I get to have my library all in one place. I can just turn on my one console. The software all has to compete with the software. If they want to really make their hardware shine, they need to do better things with their OS and better things with like the hardware itself, better things with the user experience. To truly compete, nothing can be propped up by anything else. That's wonderful. Great. Requires more than one party to actually do it. Otherwise, they're basically bowing out, right? And that was, again, the initial fear. Was Satya Nadella going to kill hardware? They're bowing out of the hardware race. Now, they're not. Obviously, they have a multi-year contract for tons of devices with AMD.
Yep.
And I'm very happy to see PlayStation coming to do stuff. And I think that they're going to do it just kind of like how they're doing PC right now. I think they're going to start porting everything through Nixxes. And instead of it being Nixxes is putting it on PC, it's Nixxes is going to be putting it on PC, Xbox, and maybe Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Depending on the game, right? Or I say Switch too. And that's fine. You want to, if PlayStation wants to put it on the initial platform first, get their money for a year to 2 there, then put it on the other stuff, get their money for a year to 2 there. That makes sense. Some people are like, but Crusader, it's not going to sell on Xbox at the same rate that it sells on PlayStation. Why bother? Well, my friends, let me tell you something. It costs a fraction to port it to another platform that it did for the original game. Right. A fraction of the budget.
Both being x86
if it costs $200
hardware.
million,
yeah.
If it costs $200 million to make Spider-Man 2, it costs like 10%, maybe 10% at most to port it to PC and other things, right?
Yeah, and that's because. And why would you say that is? Is it because of the x86? I said hardware. I meant to say software.
Not just that. you've already recorded all the voice lines. You've already done all the work. You're basically just converting it from running on one thing to converting it to running on another. That's not a trivial thing to do. That takes a lot of text. That costs a lot of money.
Right.
But you don't have to bring in all the voice actors to re-record their voice lines. You don't have to spend all of the time redeveloping every level. Back in the olden days, you typically did have to redevelop everything because the things were so freaking different. And like dear Lord, the PS3.
But don't we have to get Peter or somebody at Miles with recognizing that they're on Xbox now? Like we don't need dialogue with them saying it.
Right, but
is that what you're telling me?
So if it's only costing 10 to 20% of the original budget, you only need to sell slightly more than that percent on the other platforms to have it be the same metric. Why do I say slightly more? Well, Steam's taking 30%, Xbox is taking 30%. Nintendo's taking 30%, right? So you do have to sell a little bit more than the percentage difference in the budget, right? So if it's a 10% difference, a 10% drop in budget, you do probably need to sell like 15% of the copies on Xbox that you did on PlayStation. I think you can do that with Spider-Man. I think you can sell,
Spider-Man
because
sure
there's like
yeah.
half of the Xboxes in existence in PlayStation. I think you can sell 15% of the copies that Spider-Man sold.
100%.
You sell more than that, suddenly the Xbox market, while you're selling less copies and you're bringing in less money overall, each of those individual customers is a higher revenue customer. Like does that make sense? Like the if it costs less to put it there years later, you're making a higher margin in that ecosystem. You're making less revenue overall because you're not going to sell as many. You're not going to sell as many copies of Spider-Man on Xbox as you are on PlayStation. There's less customers in general. Ignoring anything that people say about what Game Pass does to spending, you're going to sell less copies on Xbox because there are less people. But that's okay. Even if they're spending less, that's okay. You just have to sell enough to justify it. And when the budget is 10% to port it there, you'll be fine. You'll make that. Guaranteed you'll make that. And that extends the revenue, that extends the life of these things. And to port a game somewhere also doesn't take 6 to 7 years. It doesn't take the super ginormous development time.
Yeah, that's true.
It probably takes 6 months.
That's true.
Maybe a year. Especially for a company that specializes in doing it like Nixxes. That is what they do. They don't develop other games. They take a game someone else has made and they put it somewhere else.
And that should have been a problem. That should have been the warning for everyone. I think all the PlayStation fans when they saw Nixxes being acquired, it was like, oh.
Well, they specialized. Originally they specialized in just PC stuff. Though I will say, the difference between porting to a PC and an Xbox, again, it's not a non-trivial difference, but they're both DirectX driven systems. That's the X in Xbox stands for.
Right.
DirectX. Right? And so having Nixxes do it, a significant portion of that legwork's already done because of the port to Windows. Then they have to do a bunch of extra stuff to actually make it work specifically with the console, with how the memory is allocated and things like that. There's a lot of special stuff that needs to happen, but it's kind of a match made in heaven for PlayStation that they have this kind of pipeline that they can go to where they develop the game for their own stuff. A year to 2 years later, they have an internal studio. Maybe they'll have a couple. Maybe they'll grow Nixxes, but they have a studio inside that can take that game that Insomniac made, or that Guerrilla made, or that someone else made, and put it on other platforms. Extend the life. Even further down the road, you put a game on Xbox. Say, you put the game on Xbox 2 years after it originally launched. Maybe 2 years after that, so 4 years after it originally launched. They can license it to Game Pass to make money. Microsoft does this in inverse. With PlayStation, Microsoft licenses its games to PlayStation to put on PS Plus. One of the newest PS Plus games, I believe, is Psychonauts 2. Was just announced.
Is it? Oh.
It's going to be the Essentials. There is an Xbox Studios game that's going to be on PS Plus Essentials, like the ones that they like the 3 to 4 games they give away every month to keep. Is going to be an Xbox Game Studios games, and they've been doing that with Bethesda since they acquired Bethesda.
Okay.
Right, they have been putting Bethesda games that were already on PlayStation into PS Plus. They were getting that money, that sweet money from PlayStation for a game that they already have and they don't have to patch, and it's just kind of sitting there on PlayStation's distribution network, right?
Right.
And they're saying PlayStation, you can distribute this through PS Plus Extra, Essentials, Premium, whatever. You just got to give us the licensing fee, and PlayStation's been paying that licensing fee. Now PlayStation can do that in reverse with Xbox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? They're not going to do Game Pass at launch, guaranteed. That's off the table. They're not even doing it on their own service at launch, off the table.
The only way that would happen is if Microsoft gives them a big enough bag.
They'd have to pay the budget of the game, or if not more. But
And I want to add to Crusader's point about these ports. This is why Xbox switched over to the GDK from the SDKs, because while you're already developing for PC, you're developing for Xbox at the same time. Helldivers 2 was on the GDK, which is why they were able to do such a fast port time. So this is when people say Xbox is doing this as a short term, no, they've been setting this up since the Xbox One for the GDK.
They are probably going to be switching to even more unified for how Xbox is, because the Xbox app versus a PC app is quite a bit different.
Yeah.
But it's much easier to manage with that game developer kit. 100%. I expect that to become even more closer, if not the same development between an Xbox console and a PC in the next generation. But yeah, 100%. And again, Sony's gonna be going all I gotta give Daniel his credit. He was right. He was right.
Don't keep blowing his head up now. I don't. He's just...
Let him go.
I've been thinking about how I was gonna say this for a while, but Danny. But again, I don't know how much is gonna come over quickly.
Yeah.
If I was a betting man, it's gonna be what Nixis already did. Right. Those will be the first things that'll come. So I don't think it'll be The Last of Us, because that was Iron Galaxy. If that does come, then that is a little outside of my or if that comes early, I should say. I think anything that's on PC will come to Xbox eventually. Yeah. I mean, by de facto, it will be there eventually. But
I think there's a non-zero chance that Last of Us, maybe both, come out on Xbox around the time that this third season
3
comes out.
Yeah. I think they start with Spider-Man or with Horizon. Horizon has been their experimental IP for forever.
Horizon has been.
First thing they directly published on PC.
Yeah, and then they brought the Lego game, of course.
And they brought the Lego game over to Switch.
That might be the one that come over first, actually. It might go straight to Game Pass, actually.
And Nixis worked on the PC ports for Horizon. So Horizon is actually my bet for one of the first things to come over.
You think before Returnal? Because that's the rumor, right?
I don't actually believe the Returnal rumor.
You don't believe
There's
that?
too much nonsense in it.
Yeah.
Like that Microsoft is paying the entire budget of the port. That's nonsense to me.
I think that part's a lie.
I also think that port's a... Well, I think that if that port happens, it's not... The rumor was not true.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Does that make sense?
I do think it'll come over. I just don't think that they're paying for it.
I don't think... But other than the concept of Returnal coming over, everything that he was talking about did not seem very...
far-fetched.
Yeah.
Well,
now, I
just
could
think about
also
it.
believe that Microsoft is working with Sony and is agreeing to put money in to get this started. I could believe that. But the way things were explicitly worded and how we word things is important. Right? If you are breaking a story and you're reporting on something, if you're saying that Microsoft is paying the entire budget of that game to port it over, that sounds ridiculous to me. If you're saying that Microsoft is creating a fund to work with Sony to port things, and one of the first things is Returnal, I would believe that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Well, because if you're Microsoft and you're like targeting games to be brought over to your platform, you're not shooting at Returnal first.
I agree. Yeah, you
right.
want something bigger than that.
One thing that's, again, believable about Returnal coming over early is that it was Nixis developed. Nixis did the port, right?
Right.
And again, Insomniac putting out, weird tweets where, like, maybe Ratchet and Clank's coming over, maybe Spider-Man's coming over, things like that. Again, Nixis worked on those. In fact, in Nixis's bio, one of the things is, we brought Spider-Man to PC. It's like in their bio on Twitter.
We did this to you all.
I would believe that rumor with Returnal if it was worded differently and basically the same, right? Like instead of Microsoft paying the budget, if it was like Microsoft has created a fund to help get Sony games over and to help them to basically give Sony a safety net guarantee that their stuff will at least break even, I would believe that. It's just that the way it was expressly worded that it was explicitly Returnal and they were paying the whole budget of the game, it just the way it was worded,
seemed
it
a little
doesn't,
far-fetched. I'll
yeah.
ask this final question. This is to Danny, and I'll be reading the super chat to do this for my good brother Assassin. And of course, you all can chime in after the fact or during if Danny will permit it. So Assassin gives us a generous $20 donation. Thank you, brother. He says, problem with Microsoft and Sony's new strategy is it's unproven, which I think we can agree. He says next gen will be the first time exclusives aren't the main draw. So what's the appeal of consoles? It's not fanboyism to be worried about a possible PC, Nintendo only future. And I want to read one more further part in the chat. He says exclusives cultivate a hardcore fan base, and those hardcore fans bring in the casuals, bringing in more revenue. That's how growing an IP works, which we can all agree. Danny, what's your thoughts on that specifically? Do you feel like with the strategy they're doing, it we know it's not fully proven, but we're starting to see proof. We're starting to see the fruits of the labor, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm not concerned about like it being unproven putting your stuff on other platforms. I don't think that that's necessarily something that needs to be like of concern. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's going to dramatically damage console sales on any platform. I think probably next generation we see console sales that are equivalent to what we're looking at now. And I think a lot of that is because like I see what you're saying, right? You're like, well, if all of the games are everywhere, then why would you not just buy a PC? And the reason that you would not just buy a PC is because for all the same reasons why consoles existed in the first place, is because consoles are just easier to use. They're easier to use. They're cheaper, generally speaking. And so, yeah, I think that market will continue to exist, especially right now, like where electronics are so expensive that like what are you going to do? Like, are you going to buy honestly, probably at this point, like a $700 console, or are you going to buy like a $1,400 laptop? Or not laptop, right. But you know what I mean? Like computer, right? Like the reason that consoles existed in the first place was literally just because they were cheaper, they were easier to use. You just put the game on and it plays, right? You don't have to worry about all of the stuff that comes with PC. And unless Steam or somebody is going to come out with a thing on the PC marketplace that makes it not a huge pain in the ass to use, I don't think that we're going to see any real dramatic moving between platforms, especially because people are already like invested in where their ecosystems are, like where those digital libraries are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I know that you can still access that.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if I can access my entire Xbox library on my PC, I'm still going to want to play it on my Xbox. Like honestly, and I don't even say this because I know that I talk a lot of shit about PC and will continue to in the future, but I don't even mean this in the way that I normally do. I think that if anything, we're probably going to see more people playing Steam games in the living room. Not necessarily like, moving from PC to Xbox or whatever, but I think if you can access your Steam games in your living room, I think a lot of people are going to want to do that because it's just more comfortable. Like
That's why we're seeing the Steam Deck do well.
Yeah, 100%. Like a lot, especially now where like so many people are working from home or already working at computers. A lot of people just like don't want to sit on a computer at home. Like I get that that's obviously not the case for a lot of people, but the reason why PCs, I think, exist as a place for people to play video games and why people are like so invested in that platform is not because they can be the most powerful place. I think that that's part and it helps, sure. I think that the reason why people got invested in it in the first place, usually when they were kids, was because there was already one in the house. And so when you look at the breakdown that they always do of like where all of the like what cards are running Steam or whatever, you know what I mean? Where they do their, what would you call it? Like a census, like a computer census. It's always like 20-year-old cards and laptops. Like it's people who are playing games in the most convenient way possible on computers that they probably already have for a different way.
It was the 1063 gig.
Yeah, and now it's what? Like
now it's
something?
like the 16. Now it's like the 1660.
Really?
It's not.
Sure.
We're not to the 20 series yet. So we're not two cards on. Like the majority of people on PC are not two cards that are the equivalent, the minimum of what the Series X and PS5.
You all telling me that everybody was lying about their rigs all this time?
Well,
No,
probably not the people who
because
were talking
you're-
about it online. It's just such a small
you're-
percentage.
your average enfranchised gamer who is actually going to talk about it on Twitter probably actually does have a 4080 Ti.
Yeah.
Like I have a 3080 Ti in my desktop.
Humble brag.
Humble brag.
Yeah.
It's water cooled. It's what I could get, and it
I
fucking
feel you.
sucks.
Yeah, my 4080 Super is water cooled as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. But Danny, what was
Yeah, it's no.
we had to
it's-
get the bragging out
I-
of the way. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I don't see this being like a huge cause for people migrating between places. I think that there's a chance that it causes people to sort of play in more places. So I think maybe if you are invested on your Xbox, but maybe you are in a place where you only have access to a computer, then you'll play on your computer more. Or if you're like, I don't know, at work and you want to access your Xbox games or something and you want to get fired or something, then you could do that. Or vice versa. Like if you're like, man, I really want to play Helldivers, but I don't really want to go and sit in my computer chair right now. Then you just pull that shit up on your Xbox, even if you only own it through Steam. Like I think that we don't need to be concerned about what this is going to do to the companies when it's doing so much good for us. I just think the people at those companies are smart enough that they would not have done this if they thought that there was a very high chance of like it resulting in failure for them. So I think we can just be happy with the positives that we are going to get out of it for ourselves.
I tend to
Right,
look at
and
it the
I-
same way. I will throw this at you. Assassin did add an addendum, if you will. He did say Xbox consoles have been in decline for 4+ years. He says, and PlayStation declined for the first time this quarter in the PS5 gen. I would think, though, that might be because we're nearing the end of the gen. But he said this is proof
it's
that we should
not-
at least be concerned. What's your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely not. This is okay. Look, the when you say they're in decline, first of all, that's not exactly the numbers you're looking at are not saying that they are in decline. They're saying that they are sold less this year than they sold last year. That's not like people are returning the consoles. The install base is not shrinking, it's just growing less quickly. And that's for a multitude of reasons. That's because everything is super expensive right now and you have to choose between groceries or an Xbox. And you're going to choose your groceries because you got to feed your fucking kids.
True.
So like that's a huge part of it. And then also on top of that, the aspect of it is like, yes, like you said, we are further into the console generation at this point. Like people who were going to buy these things up front already did. Like the people who are buying it now are people who are slow adopters, or like maybe they weren't going to, but then their old one got a little too old, if you know what I mean. So like they had to jump up. Like this always happens to the tail end of the ecosystem, to the tail end of the generation, especially considering that we're already starting to talk about next generation. Not that that's probably hitting like the mainstream yet, but we're already starting to talk about like in our circles about that shit.
Right.
So I don't think that it is a need to be concerned, because even if, let's say, next generation, which probably, if it's launching in the middle of all these tariffs and shit, yeah, probably they are going to go off to a slower start than they did this time. I pretty much guarantee that. That doesn't mean that the consoles are going to, at the end of the day, end up selling dramatically less, or that they're going to fail. It just means like, we're in an economic situation right now where people are just not, they are not spending in the way that they did 4 years ago or 8 years ago. It's just not, it's not something that people can do right now.
Yeah.
So it's not, the shrinking of console sales is not in response to any move made by Microsoft or PlayStation. It's because they literally do not have the money to buy these things currently. That would be my thing.
And how they report on it is completely different. Sony pads
Also
their
true.
numbers with shipped, not actually sold. So what you're seeing is an increase in ship because of tariffs. It's not because that's how many people are actually buying PlayStations. No,
Yeah.
that's how many they're shipping to get ahead of the tariffs. So when
Yeah,
they're,
They had a 3-month supply in the U.S., I believe. Am I correct in
something
saying
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
Pixel asked, he gives a $2 donation, very generous $2 donation. Thank you, Pixel Big G. He says, doesn't Returnal use direct storage? I had looked into it, Pixel, and it doesn't. It says it does not use Microsoft's direct storage API because the PC version released after the PS5 version, it lacks support.
So the PC version does use direct storage.
Yeah, but for I guess for the PC version has it, right? So
Yeah.
but the
Direct
standard
storage,
PS5 doesn't. Yeah.
Correct. And the PC version doesn't have to use direct storage if you don't have a compatible if your system's not compatible to use it.
called a
Direct
returnable
storage
as well.
yeah. One thing that people like,
the fact that it uses direct storage doesn't make it more or less compatible with Xbox. It does mean if it was put on the Xbox, it would have an efficiency because it's already designed to use direct storage, and the Xbox is capable of direct storage. But like the PS5 version doesn't use direct storage because the direct storage API doesn't exist on PlayStation because PlayStation does not use DirectX.
That's true. So they have their own like proprietary situation to fix that, right?
And direct storage is just a unique solution for using bandwidth of your SSD, your M.2 SSD, to load stuff more efficiently, to like bypass having to put in RAM, being able to put it straight into VRAM. Like this, it makes it more efficient to load things with a higher bandwidth that you get from an SSD. PlayStation almost certainly has something internal, not a public name for it.
Yeah, it's hardware based. I'm pretty sure.
They have a. You're probably thinking of the Kraken compression. That is totally different.
It's I know they have a proprietary thing that fixed this for the decompression for the SSD.
So that you're thinking the Kraken compression decompression. That is not what direct storage does. That literally.
No, I'm talking
means
about their
that
solution for it, basically, because they don't have it. Yeah.
Their solution is just something internal that they have on the inside. Like there is no name for it. The thing that you're probably conflating is they have a solution, a proprietary model for compressing and decompressing data as it comes out. That's not what direct storage does, but it is a unique thing that the PS5 does because they have a special hardware chip to handle decompression and recompression that offers a very different kind of optimization. For them, it makes it so that you can use that huge pipe to make it so that the installed game on the disk is smaller.
Okay.
Direct storage does stuff with how you actually load stuff into your video card or into video memory. They're very different solutions.
Okay.
But I guarantee PlayStation has something internal. There is no public name for their solution. Guarantee they have something internal that does stuff similarly.
They have the direct Pony storage chip that they won't name out loud. No, I'm joking. But yeah,
so
that's interesting.
Direct storage is just a part of the DirectX API that does something very specific. And DirectX is a very public-facing thing because even things outside of games use DirectX. Like basically anything that uses video acceleration uses DirectX.
Okay. All right.
Pisser technology.
Yeah.
The pisser.
It's just so much fun to say.
Yeah, so look, I think we've covered that well enough. Soil Tech, by the way, my good brother Soil Tech, he drops a generous $1.99 donation. He says, please like and subscribe. Yes, y'all, please do. Thank you all in the chat for being here and holding us down, by the way. Definitely hit the like button and subscribe if you have not yet. I agree with you, Spartan. He says, there's nothing better than a big comfy chair or couch to sit in while you game. Absolutely, brother. And Tegan, which is I forgot what's your the gaming network. Well, I forgot your full name. I'm glad you shortened it though. He said tariffs are just an excuse to jack up prices anyway, considering they're on and off every second day. Yeah, I mean it is an excuse in some cases. To your point, but these tariffs are a very real issue, and they're not going to swallow that cost. The game update. There you go. The game adaptation newscast. Thank you. I knew it was. I forgot how your name was, but thank you, Assassin. But yeah, like I think it is an excuse to some degree. I think they have scapegoated it at points, but I think also these tariffs are a very real thing, and they're never going to take that cost on themselves. They're going to push that off on us. So get prepared for it. I can only imagine how next gen is going to look price wise because of that. So we'll see, unless they find some type of situation that. Well, they're not going to go back down in price. Never mind.
No,
anyway,
I don't think they will.
Yeah, it's not happening. They like, oh yeah, we get more money. Yeah, absolutely, we'll do that. Anyway, that said, thank you all in the chat again. I want to thank my brother Corkenstein for jumping in and joining us tonight.
Yes,
and so I'll start with you, Cork. tell the good folks where they can find you on social media and such. And of course, again, remind them of your channel. And I'll make sure to add all of this information as well as timestamps later tonight for yourself and Crusader. I did not get a chance to do that, but yeah.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, as always, thank you for having me on. Great to podcast with you guys for the first time. With you, I've been a few already. But Danny and Crusader, thank you guys so much. It's been awesome talking with you guys. Your community as well, Umbra. Thank you guys for the great, talking in the chat and everything. I really appreciate it, making me feel welcomed. For me, you can find me at the Korkenstein on Twitter, on Bluesky, on Threads, whatever that may be. I am on every Friday with Breakfast with Boom. I'm probably gonna miss tomorrow's show. I just have way too much going on this weekend and a ton of overtime at work, so I'm probably gonna miss tomorrow's. But I am there most Fridays. You could also catch me on my own podcasts. One Game Pass Gumbo. It's been a while since we did one, but we're working on trying to get another one to come out. And then I do have Xbox Talks, but that might get rebranded. We're trying to figure out how to get that worked back into the Xbox community on Reddit, which is our Xbox, which is one of the ones I run. So yeah, we're trying to figure all that out. But yes, Xbox Talks, Game Pass Gumbo, the Korkenstein. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I will I'll make sure to add that into the show notes. I want you guys to please go and subscribe to my brother Cork here. Great dude, as you all have heard. And yeah, man. I mean, we chop it up at times in Discord and stuff like that. I know you're a good brother. I mean, we just have good talks, So I would also encourage you all. I don't think I have it in the description, but I can add it just because I'm going to mention it right now. But we have the GCP Discord ran by our brother K. Asante and Everborn that you all should definitely join and be a part of for great discussions and such like that, almost daily. Yeah, very worthwhile, very fun, very wild. So if you come in there, if you feel like you got to clutch your pearls, it might not be for you, but we have all types of wild discussions in there outside of just gaming. But moving on though, and to our newest panel member, and I couldn't be more happier to have you, my good brother Crusader. Man, welcome to the show, brother. It's great to have you as an addition. We, as people could hear tonight, you have great knowledge and understanding of so much. You can speak with the best of them. You can dole out your views in great detail. It's very appreciated. Anybody would be lucky to have you, but we got you. So y'all can suck it. No, Joe. But seriously, thank you for joining us, brother, as a panel member. Absolutely. Tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
You can find me at Crusader3456 on most social media. I will have I'll give my link tree to Umbra to put in the description of this video and future videos. If you want to see what I'm up to and what I'm playing, I usually talk about what I'm playing on Twitter the most, and I keep a journal of everything that I have played and what I rate it at on backlog.com. You can find me at Crusader3456 there.
And there we go. And there we have it. And last but not least, Daniel J. McGee, man, has been here with me from the beginning. Now, I don't want to say the end. That'll sound wrong. But he's been here with me from the start. Of course, shout out to Gray. I see you
guys.
Yeah, this is the end. Shout out to Gray, of course. He got his eyebrow up in the chat there, and he's been here with us from the start as well as our mod. But yeah, Danny, my good brother, great show, great thoughts. Tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to.
You can find my other podcast, Ready, Set, Replay, on Spotify and YouTube. We talk about older video games and Star Trek most recently. This week, on Tuesday, will be the final episode of the first season of Star Trek. So that'll be a really good one. 2 really great episodes in that season. So a lot of really good conversations there. And then, like I said, we're moving on to Legend of Mana over on the video game side. So there's a lot of really interesting conversations going on over there. And I would really appreciate it if even just 2 or 3 of you went on over to to Ready Set Replay and hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're set at 35 subscribers right now, and I know when that number's really low, a lot of people who are just browsing by feel some type of way about clicking on it. So if you, the people who actually know me, sort of, could go and bump that number up so that strangers would feel more comfortable doing so, I would personally very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love you all.
Y'all heard that? He loves you.
I love you, but only if you hit subscribe. Anyone who has not hit subscribed, don't love you.
He hates you. In fact.
Well, maybe, perhaps.
There you go.
Who's to say?
Well, we got a newscast. He just subscribed, so shout out to you, brother. He also says peace. He says he's going to watch the last 3 episodes of Twisted Metal. If you haven't watched it, you're missing out. I have not watched that yet, actually, so I need to check that out. I got a bunch of shows to catch up to, man, a lot. So, yeah, I'll probably start on some of that tonight. As far as myself, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite, you will find me either way on social media. And, of course, Tuesdays, the Xbox Factor with myself, Boom, and Jamie Moran. It's 12 o'clock Eastern. Thursdays back here with us. Now 3 of us. 3 for the price of 1. At 8 o'clock Eastern on the Fix. And tomorrow and on Fridays in general, typically 8 o'clock Eastern for the Infinite podcast hosted by Risky for the Biscuit with myself, that blue number, and Dante Moody, a.k.a. Spriggan, as the panel. Man, come by and check us out for that tomorrow as well. We should have a good discussion if we go live. We always have fun. So, and man, we have a lot more to go as far as this show. We want to improve steadily and definitely want to get in contact with the fellas here to try to see what we can do to implement more great changes and things like that. And we are fast approaching to 100. I think, like I said, this should be the 95th episode, if I'm not mistaken. So 5 more to 100, y'all. We'll be there next month by maybe the 4th. What month? What day is that? Let me see something. That should be not next month, the 4th. Sorry. The end of the month. By the end of the month, if not the beginning of the next month, we should be there. So, yeah, definitely. I'm not sure, Gray. I think he will be. I haven't heard otherwise. So, but yeah, thank you all for being here. If you have not done so, please hit the like and subscribe on your way out. Check out Ready Set Replay. Subscribe to Danny's there. Once you see it there later, definitely subscribe to Cork's channels as well. But we're going to get out of here. You all have a great night. Talk to you all later.